Oh yeah, is it Tuesday already? Is it time, finally, to predict for the last time ever the first two episodes of the Acolyte show? Wow, do we have a lot to get into today because this will be the last time ever that we have the last chance to predict the Acolyte before we've seen any of it because we got the 2-episode premiere in just 7 hours. So let's dive into all this because we got some reviews, we got some Rotten Tomato score, we got all this other stuff. So what's up, everybody? It's Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars. We got a lot to get into today as the Acolyte premieres in 7 hours. And over the next at least 2 hours, we'll be talking about all our craziest predictions for this show before it comes out. So right now, chat, how's everybody doing on this fine Tuesday premiere day afternoon? How's everybody doing, chat? And throw in your craziest, and I mean craziest, predictions for this Acolyte show. Let me open up the chat so we can say hi to everybody. Let me open this up really quickly. Okay. We got a Rotten Tomato score that was just released a few moments ago or a few hours ago, whatever it is. And we got some other reviews as well, as the Rotten Tomato score is pretty high and the audience score is extremely low. Was that to be expected? Yes, of course. This has already been an extremely divisive show before it's even released, and the audience score is showing that a lot. You have to remember the first official trailer for this Acolyte show had more dislikes than it did likes. The controversy never stops when it comes to this Acolyte show, but I'm still very optimistic and hopeful that this show is going to be extremely good because every trailer has made it look even better. And yes, we haven't streamed since last Thursday, so we have a lot of trailers to watch. A lot of trailers to watch, which we'll get into. But let's say hi to everybody in the chat. What's up, chat? Okay. Dustin Kennedy, what is up? Jack Robbins in the house. The Star Wars guy, what is up? Trent, how we doing? B-Man, what's up? Neon Victor, how we doing? Brandon, what's up? Chris, how we doing? Mando United. Stingray, what is up? Mandalorian Legion, how we doing? Holy Raccoon, what's up? Zap, how we doing? To get everybody. Lucas, how we doing? Navarro, what is up? Zap, what is up? Pam Hill, how we doing? Kyle, what's up? Jesse, how we doing? I think I hit everybody. If I missed you in the chat, just yell at me. You know what the deal is. Rose, what's up? Okay. The Holocron, how we doing? Okay. Let's talk about, I think we should start with the reviews. Okay. Let's just start with the review. And before we even get to the reviews, so let's not start with the reviews. Let's start with this. For the last time ever, and I mean ever for this time, for reals. For reals. And if you guys haven't smashed a like on the stream, what the hell are you waiting for? For the last time ever, I get to put up this poll. Are you excited for the Acolyte? Are you excited for the... Oh, that's not how you spell Acolyte. Acolyte, yes or no? This is the last time we'll ever be able to put up this poll because the Acolyte is coming on 7 hours! So, for the last time ever, let's see how we are. Where are we at, chat? Are we excited for this show? Are we excited? Are we excited? Because I put up this poll on the community tab on the channel, and the results were a little weird. I mean, I expected there to be a lot of people who were like, no, I'm never going to watch this show. Why would I ever do that? Star Wars sucks. Disney Star Wars is Star. There's a lot of those people around. I understand, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of that. But this community tab was a surprise, to be sure. Not really sure if it's a welcome one, though. Let's go take a look at this. Over the weekend, I obviously went to a wedding, like I told you guys I would be on Thursday, so I was not able to create much content over the weekend. I did schedule a lot of things to post, shorts and other, and one of the community tab polls, or we did 3 actually, but one, we'll go over the first 2, I guess, first. So these were the community tab polls over the weekend, okay? Over the weekend. And these were the 3 of them. There was 3. So the first one was, or the latest one, I should say, was this. Which show should get a second season? Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett? And this was actually very surprising to me. Almost 80% of you would rather a Kenobi show season 2 rather than a Book of Boba Fett season 2. Now tell me in the chat, which one would you rather? Kenobi or Boba Fett? Because honestly, for me, I'd say Boba Fett. Yes, Kenobi had the great rematch of the century at the end with Anakin versus Obi-Wan, or Vader versus Obi-Wan, but that was it. I mean, where is the story to have a second season for Kenobi? I feel like Boba Fett has an infinite amount of possibilities because of the time period it takes place in. After the original trilogy, before the sequel trilogy, Boba Fett could be going off doing anything. You could involve the Crimson Dawn, you could involve all the other syndicates, the Hutts, and everything, and it could be really, really cool. There's an infinite, literal infinite amount of possibilities you could do with Boba Fett's character in a second season of Book of Boba Fett. For Kenobi, it's very, very hard to come up with an entire season of a story that can take place after the first season that happened, that would involve Vader, that would involve Obi-Wan, because he's not supposed to leave Tatooine. He already did once, and fans weren't that happy about it. But the poll doesn't lie. There's over 12,000 votes on this, and Kenobi is 80% to 20% right here. Interesting. We're splitting the chat, too. I see a bunch of Kenobis and a bunch of Boba Fetts. Honestly, both. Yeah, I mean, if there's a story for Kenobi, I'd want to see it. You just want, yeah, a lot of people just love Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen and want to see those two characters back. But if there's no story there, you don't really want to force it, you know? Yeah, no? Okay, moving on to the second poll. Which is your favorite droid in Star Wars? And the four options were C-3PO, R2-D2, Chopper, and Other. In R2-D2, I mean, almost 80% again here, 76%. R2-D2, second place was Chopper with 9%, and tied for last, I guess, was C-3PO with 8, and Other with 8. So, chat, tell me, who's your favorite droid in Star Wars? This is not a good sign. I already feel like I'm losing my voice already. Maybe it's because I haven't streamed in like 5 days. It's thrown me off. What's your favorite droid? I mean, R2-D2 is the GOAT, so I'm not surprised at how this went, but it's pretty funny to me that Chopper's in second, just by 1%, but he is in second. He is in second. Chopper, R2, because he has a high KD. He has a high KD. So does Chopper. R2 is more iconic, but I love Chopper. True. R2. Mine is K2SO. K2SO isn't that Other. You can see. Well, Other is all other droids, but K2SO is right there. True. R2-D2. Huge Wang. Huge Wang is underrated for sure. L337. Who's that? I'm blanking on who that is. Hello there. What's up, Ben? How we doing? Okay, and then the final poll was, are you excited for the Acolyte? And our four options were yes, can't wait, I'll check it out, no, not really, and no, never gonna watch this. And this kind of surprised me. Yes, I can't wait as 17%, and that's in third. With the majority of votes, with almost 10,000 or over 9,000 votes here, is I'll check it out, which is good. I mean, people are going to have their own opinions, but at least they're going to check it out. 31% said no, not really, and then 13% said no, never going to watch this. So it's very spread across the board, and I wonder if this is going to change after the premiere. It's going to go one of two ways. Either the show is really, really good, and word of mouth is going to get around that it's really, really good, and people are going to go, oh my God, you have to watch this. Tell all their friends, tell all their family, tell everybody that you have to watch this show. Or the premiere is going to have a pretty good showing, and then it's just going to go down and down and down from there. Now, I'm hoping that that's not the case for me personally, but just for the Star Wars fandom in general. I'm hoping this show is really, really good. But from the looks of this poll, it seems as though, even though I'm a channel literally titled A Guy Who Loves Star Wars, it seems as though we are spread completely across the board, with the majority still saying, I will check it out. Just pretty interesting, if you ask me. Pretty interesting poll. But let's talk about Rotten Tomatoes. Have you guys seen this? Give me a 1 into the chat if you've seen the Rotten Tomatoes score that the Acolyte has received. I posted this on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, just a few hours ago, or maybe even less than that. Did you guys see this poll? Did you guys see this? Yeah, you saw it? Not seen it yet? Okay, let's check it out. Rotten Tomatoes gave their score for the Acolyte. Now, just pretend that the audience score isn't there for a second, because we'll talk about the audience score in just a second. Let's start with the Rotten Tomatoes score itself. Actually, let me see if I can zoom in so we can avoid the audience score for now. Is that going to work? It's not going to work. Okay, never mind. I guess you're just going to have to see both of them. But that's okay. Okay. Let's take a look. The Rotten Tomatoes score currently for The Acolyte, with almost 50 reviews in from critics, is at an 84. Certified fresh, so it's called. 84, and that is a very good score. For those of you who are trying to compare and contrast the sequel trilogy, I believe The Force Awakens had a pretty high score. The Last Jedi had an extremely high score, one of the highest ever. And Rise of Skywalker was in the 50s, I believe. 50s. So it was very low. So Rotten Tomatoes, and I know I'm already going to see it in the chat, Rotten Tomatoes sucks. They're always wrong. It's a bunch of critics that don't know what they're talking about, blah, 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 blah. And I agree with you, but it's still a stat that means something. There's a majority of critics that think this show is going to be really, really good. Now, what do the critics know? Who knows? I don't know. But it is a stat, and we do have some reviews to get into here on Rotten Tomatoes. But before we even dive into that, let's talk about the audience score, okay? I understand that even though there's an 84 right there, there's also a 48. I don't know if that's on purpose because it is the reverse, but there is a 48 from an audience score. And guess what, guys? The audience hasn't seen the fucking show. They haven't even seen the fucking show. Now, I know there are a few people that have seen the show, critics being the majority of them, but some fans have gone to early screenings or whatever it might be. What we're looking at here, this 84% of people are the people that probably haven't seen the show. They're people, the same people who disliked the trailer because they're against this show. They're against Disney, Star Wars. They're against everything that Star Wars is going to make. That's the problem here. And this might just be a problem for a long, long time as Star Wars fans. Because there is a minority in the Star Wars fandom, but they're just screaming louder than everybody else, that's going to hate and hate on everything. These people haven't even seen the show yet, and they're already giving it a bad score. Now, we're going to read a lot of these reviews from the critics and some from the audience, I guess. But keep an open mind when you know that these people haven't even seen the show yet. Okay, let's talk about the description first. A former Padawan reunites with her Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes, but discover the forces they confront are more sinister than they ever anticipated. This is the oldest description of the show that we got over a year ago. That actually has been updated since, and for some reason Rotten Tomatoes has not updated the description of the show. The former Padawan being referred to here is the character of Osha, one of the twins played by May. And the Jedi Master, her ex-Jedi Master, is Master Soul. A lot of people, Master Soul. How many hours left until it gets released? 7 hours. Well, a little less than 7 hours now, but 7 hours. It releases at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alex, what's up? How we doing? Okay, let's read some of these reviews, okay? Reviews. Boom. Okay. See all 47. Let's read some of these, okay? Drag that over there. This is a good story. They gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Randy Meeks says, but at its core, The Acolyte is still what it promises. Another Star Wars series. See full review in Spanish? Okay, we're not going to read his review because I don't speak Spanish. Okay, let's go on to Alan French. Alan French gives it a 9 out of 10, which is extremely high. Says the jump in quality is stunning and instantly makes the case for the for The Acolyte as one of Disney's best projects since taking over Star Wars. Talk about a high compliment. You got shows like Ahsoka, which of course we're repping the Ahsoka mug. How can you not? Let's not forget that the last live action show was freaking Ahsoka, which was so damn good. But you also have shows like The Mandalorian. You have shows like Rebels, Clone Wars Season 7, The Bad Batch, all shows that have come out since Disney has taken over. And they're saying that The Acolyte might be one of the best Disney-produced projects. We're starting out on a high here. Grace Randolph says, a refreshing change of pace for Star Wars. Interesting. A murder mystery with horror vibes. And a diverse cast. Yet it still feels very much like classic Star Wars. Great fight scenes, but also a lot of thought has clearly gone into the storytelling. Strong work. So we've seen this time and time again with all these different reviews for this show. Fight scenes in this show are going to be amazing. Absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait. We're going to watch a trailer that's on YouTube for this Acolyte show where they talk about how much they really spent on the fights, the choreography, all the stuff that we're going to see in these first 2 episodes and the entire show. The lightsaber duels between May and Master Indara, May versus Soul, May versus the curly-haired dude. All of these fights are going to be absolutely insane, and all the choreography is going to be fantastic. And every review, pretty much every review, has said the same thing. What did Rotten Tomatoes give Ahsoka for reference? Oh, we could do that. We'll do that after. Somebody remind me in the chat when we finish up with these reviews. Tell me in the chat to do that. Look over Ahsoka's reviews. All right. Daniel Solzman gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, which is very high. Says Star Wars: The Acolyte utilizes serialized, easy for me to say, storytelling and martial arts in bringing a live-action High Republic series to the screen. Pretty good. Okay, here we got a bad review. 2 out of 5. Very low. This is Julian Roman, who said, Star Wars: The Acolyte unfortunately lives up to the hype as a series that will divide the fans. The problems lie in the plot's execution. Interesting. Overall vision of the characters, Star Wars universe, and puzzling inconsistencies in the use of the Force. Interesting. Now, what's the most interesting about this review is not only that it's bad, obviously, but it's pretty much saying the opposite of what every other review is saying. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying that Julian from the Movie Web is wrong, because, again, we haven't seen the show. But the puzzling inconsistency in the use of the Force doesn't really make much sense. Using the Force is using the Force, and the inconsistency of not using the Force is going to be strange. But plot execution, again, these people have only seen the first couple episodes, so that's kind of hard to say when you haven't seen the whole story. And dividing the fans. I mean, the show's already divided the fans. Let's be honest, guys. We're sitting here talking about a show that's going to divide the fans. It already has. It already has. The fandom has been divided when it comes to this Acolyte show, and it's not even close. It's not even close. But we haven't even watched the show yet. Things can change just by the sight of the first 2 episodes. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. Okay. I'm eating ice out of my water, if that's what you're hearing. All right, let's see. Another pretty decent review, I guess 3 out of 5. James Dyer says, well, it might be unfair to hold this broader, I can't read English, broader Heartland series up against Andor's edgy, adult-oriented outlier. The Acolyte is, so far, is not the bold stride forward that we hoped for. So this person right here is directly putting Andor against the Acolyte. And there's a lot of people out there that really, really love Andor. Tell me in the chat if that's you. I loved Andor. I'm not one of the people who are like, that's the greatest show of all time. I'm not like that. But I did love the show, and I can't wait for season 2. I actually think that the Acolyte will be better than Andor. But, again, we haven't seen it yet, so I might be completely wrong. I like the Force. I like the lore of the Jedi and the Sith and the Force and the lightsabers, and Andor didn't have that. But even still, Andor holds its own on its own story, which is freaking fantastic. So, not saying Andor's bad, but I'm saying that there's better than Andor. But they just pinned the 2 against each other. All right, another bad review here from Sam Adam says, he's one of the top critics apparently. This show pulls back from its most audacious possibilities in a way that suggests the heavy hand of brand management, chipping away at anything that might rock the boat. Interesting. Let's read this again. The show pulls back from the most audacious possibilities in a way that suggests the heavy hand of brand management, chipping away at anything possible to them. Okay. So I think what they're saying here is they tried to play it safe, and they didn't really go for those, they pulled back from when it came to these, like, insane possibilities that they could have done with the current time period. Maybe that's what they're saying. They're playing it safe in this new show. I don't really know. This is kind of confusing they've seen the show and we haven't. So I don't really know what they're referring to here. I don't really know. Okay. Rodrigo gives it a B-. I don't get it. Like, this is a 3 out of 5. That's a 2 out of 5. That's a 4 out of 5. Then this is a 9 out of 10. Then this is a B-. Like, what is the ranking system here? What is the ranking system? I really don't know. But it's out of 5. It's out of 10. It's out of ABCs. I really don't know. But he gives it a B-. And he says this: the texture of what Headland is toying with in The Acolyte feels like it requires a deeper level of sophistication that might be slightly out of the series' reach. Interesting. They've assured us, Leslie and Dave Filoni, that you don't really have to watch anything prior to this Acolyte show to understand what's going on in this Acolyte show. That's what they said. That's the same thing that they said with Ahsoka. Now, obviously, if you watch Ahsoka and you haven't seen Star Wars Rebels or even the Clone Wars or even The Mandalorian, you're going to be a little bit confused. Yes, you can watch it and it's a cool story, but so much is added to that story when you know who Sabine is, you know who Thrawn is, you know who Ezra is, and all the others, obviously. So there's a lot that's added to it. I think what they're referring to here is obviously the High Republic era is been fleshed out over the last 4 years in Star Wars novels. And it's not involving many of those characters, but it might help if you have read or at least know the basics of that story. We know Vanestra Rho, at least, the bald green lady with the laser whip. We know that she is from those books. And we don't know much about that character, but we do know that she's going to be in the show. Acolyte is much better than Ahsoka? Wow. And John, you saw the preview, right? That's high praise right there, I must say. Okay, let's keep reading some more of these reviews. We got another bad one here. We'll read a few more, and then we'll go to Ahsoka and see how they compare. There's a lot of reviews here. Yeah, so we'll just read a few more here. All right, this one's coming from Rob Owen of the Seattle Times, and he gave it a bad score. It doesn't say a score down here, but he gave it a bad score because it's a Rotten Tomato. And he said, this is the first Star Wars series that gave off Star Trek The Next Generation vibes. I've never seen that. I cannot tell you if that's the case, but that's what he says. It doesn't help that the show's momentum can be slow. With too many dull exposition, pit stops, even as episodes clock in at a light 32 to 42 minutes. So the runtime is a big deal. The runtimes have sort of been leaked out online, and the first 4 episodes are all around 40 or 30, low 30s to low 40s. Yeah, around that 32 to 42 minutes. I believe episode 1 was 41 and episode 2 is 36. Don't quote me on that. I might be off by a few minutes. But 41 and 36. Fans are never going to stop complaining about runtimes until we get 3-hour episodes of a 16-episode series. They're not going to stop complaining. This is right on par with Ahsoka, with The Mandalorian, with The Book of Boba Fett, with Kenobi. Like, all of these Star Wars shows have had similar runtimes, 30 to 45 minutes, and it hasn't really changed from there. The Acolyte having different than that is, it's not to be expected. We think that this show is going to have the same runtimes. But let's go back to the beginning. It gives off Star Trek vibes. I honestly have not watched enough Star Trek to even understand what that means. I don't know the vibe of Star Trek, so I can't really say anything to that. But I have heard this about the first 2 episodes. The momentum is slower. Now, this makes sense. You're establishing a brand new cast of characters, from Jedi to smugglers to bad guys to witches to everybody. You're establishing so many new characters that it's going to take some time. And I've heard that the first episode is a little bit slower when it comes to the momentum, and the second episode sort of picks up the pace, and then episode 3 and 4, for the people who have seen it, they really hit the ground running. But episode 1 and deservingly so, takes its time because we're introduced to a bajillion new characters, and that's hard to do. You have to establish the story. You have to establish all of these things to people who don't sit here and talk for hours about Star Wars and speculating about this show. So for people who don't even know who May or Osha are and that they're twins, or know who Master Soul is, or Master Indara, or Kalnaka, or Yord, or Jackie, or the masked mysterious Sith dude, like, for those people who don't even know who those people are because they haven't watched a single trailer and the first time they've ever seen Star Wars is this show, they need to establish all of those characters in the first episode. And doing that is going to be a little bit more difficult than one might see. All right, let's read a few more here because we got a very high praised one right there. We'll read two more here. They're two higher ones because we just read a bunch of lower ones. This one's coming from M.N. Miller from the Fandom Wire, who gives it an 8 out of 10 and says, "The Acolyte is a stunning and incredibly captivating new chapter in the Star Wars streaming saga." I mean, short and sweet, very high praise. Joseph says, "There's only 8 episodes of The Acolyte?" Yes. Yeah. It's the same as Ahsoka, same as Mando, same as Kenobi. Actually, no, Kenobi's was only 6, right? Yeah, so it's the same as Ahsoka, same as Mando, same as Ahsoka and Mando, I guess, because Book of Boba Fett's only 7. Kid Fisto, what's up? Yeah, the only one that's more than 8 is Andor, and that's 12. Yeah. Okay, let's read one more right here because this guy gives it a 5 out of 5. That's a 100. That's an A+. That's a 10 out of 10. Okay, so let's read this one. "It's probably the recency bias talking, and maybe I was starving for some good new storytelling after Andor set the bar way too high, but I really liked The Acolyte." So he's talking about how recency bias talking because he's been starving for some really good Star Wars stories since Andor was, what, 2 years ago now? Something like that. So Andor was so long ago that we've been waiting for some really good storytelling, and he says that this is what The Acolyte is. It's on the same level as that. Yeah. So, I mean, there's literally 40 some odd more reviews, so we won't read all of them, but that gives us a good scope. We read good ones, we read bad ones. They're all over the place. And honestly, it seems like this show is going to be all over the place. But let's see. Do we have... No, there's no audience ones. So there's no audience reviews. But there is... If I can go back to just The Acolyte. Oh, here we go. There is the... Oh, and I already dropped to 47. So with... Yeah, so they don't even have the reviews there yet. But 47% of people... 40%, it has a 47% when it comes to the audience review, which is... not the greatest, if I do say so myself. But let's compare it to recent Star Wars projects. Let's see. Yeah, so here we go. Let's search up something else. Let's go back to Ahsoka, because Ahsoka was the last live-action one. If I can spell. Ahsoka, let's see. Ahsoka got an 86, so 2% higher. And the audience score for Ahsoka was 69? First of all, nice. Second of all, how? How? Are you kidding me? I don't know. For some reason, for me, Ahsoka is just that good. But that might just be a me thing. But it does have a 2% higher, so it's on the same level as Ahsoka as of right now. Let's look up the Mandalorian. Oops. Mandalorian, is this just season 1 or all seasons? The Mandalorian is a 90, and I think this is across all 3 seasons. Yeah, all 3 seasons. So it has a 90. And only a 78 for the Mandalorian? What is going on here? But a 90, that's very high. Again, 3 shows, all within 6% of 80 to 90. Let's go to Andor. Oops. Let's go to Andor. Andor's got a 96! A 96 and an 86 audience score. That's the highest audience score as well. That's wild. That's wild. Let's go to Kenobi now. Kenobi. Damn it, why do I keep doing that? Kenobi. Kenobi's got an 82. So we have yet to drop below 80 right now. yet to drop below 80 on the Rotten Tomato score, and it has a 62 audience score. What else is there? Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett. 66. So I just said we have yet to drop below 80, and the Book of Boba Fett comes out with the order 66. And again, the audience score for the Book of Boba Fett is still higher than the Acolyte. And guess what? They haven't even seen the Acolyte yet. So let's go back to the Acolyte really quickly. The Acolyte. This is our score so far. Currently, with only about 50 critic reviews in, it's got an 84. And then with audiences that haven't even seen the show yet, it already has a 47. I don't think that's going to change much. Maybe it goes a little bit higher if the show's really, really good and all the Star Wars fans that really love Star Wars come in and vote on that. But this is a lot of haters who, again, the same reason that the first Acolyte trailer has more dislikes than likes, come on here and vote for something very low. I'm sure if you got to see this, a lot of them would probably be zeros on there. Just people coming on to hate, for sure. Jay, what's up? Okay. Now let's watch the trailers, because we have a bunch of teasers or 30-second TV spots or whatever that show us a lot of new stuff about this Acolyte show that comes out in 6.5 hours that we haven't watched yet because we didn't have live stream on Saturday. But let me catch up on some chat first, because I am very far behind and I see all you guys in the chat, so don't worry, I'm coming. After that nice sip of water. Okay, let's go back to the chat here. Holy chat. Okay. I'm going to scroll up here and we're going to start from the top. I guess, why not? Adam, what's up? Okay. Where was I? Jesse says, yo, it's sorry, it's been a while. I haven't been at any of the lives because I broke my foot and had surgery right now. Damn, Jesse, I hope all's doing well. I hope the surgery went good, and I hope your foot's doing better. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. Yeah, okay. What time does the Acolyte come out in your location? For me, it's about 8 a.m. Damn. 8 a.m. It's 9 p.m. for me, so wherever you are, you're very far ahead or behind. I don't know. It's 9 p.m. for me. Yo, it's Nestor. What's up, Nestor says, I'm back, baby. Acolyte, let's go. I'm excited for the Acolyte. I'm very, very excited. And it seems as though at least 83% of you in the chat are as well, which is great to see. What time does the Acolyte come out for you guys? For me, it's 9 p.m. I'm on Eastern Standard Time. What time is it for everybody in the chat? Zap says, haters gonna hate, Mike. What can I say? Some people's mothers didn't love them. Oh, I should really pre-read these chats before I say them out loud.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Okay, moving on. Tony, what's up? Alex says, what's up, Mike? In chat, how we doing, Alex? Have you seen the parody of the Christmas theme of killing kids and like killing kid? What? What? John Pedro says, I saw the first 2 episodes last night, and it's off to a really great start. The characters are very compelling. Nice. And John, I appreciate you for not coming in here and spoiling the whole first 2 episodes. I really do appreciate it. But that's good to hear. Out of 10, John, what would you give the first 2 episodes? Out of 10. Just wanna see. Darth Thor. Whoa. Darth Thor, the crossover of the century. What's up, Darth Thor says, imagine hating something and then putting your entire life to stalk it and find out information about it. What a miserable life they must live. I don't like the fandom menace and those trash YouTubers. Yeah, there's a lot of hate out there online, especially when it comes to the Star Wars universe. And it's not that hard to find. We'll put it that way. A lot of people make probably a living, honestly, crapping on Star Wars. And it is funny that they hate it so much that they watch it to hate on it. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. Like, if I was somebody who didn't like Star Wars, or if I was like, current Star Wars is bad, then I wouldn't watch it. I mean, is that not the logical way to go about it? But no, you're absolutely right, Darth Thor. They just put their entire life and effort into sticking up with the current Star Wars and crapping all over it. To each their own, I guess. Sir Gungi says, did the show get review bombed already? So many audiences reviewed this early. Yes, it got review bombed, but not really, because everybody who reviewed it last weekend, the reviews we went over last week, like almost 2 weeks ago now, those reviews were very good. They were very high. Rotten Tomato score in a lot of those critic reviews that we just read are also very high. It's only the audiences that haven't seen it yet, that hate Star Wars, that don't want to even watch the show. Those are the people who are review bombing this show so far. Alex says, I'm super hyped for The Acolyte. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently the first 2 episodes leave the audience with a cliffhanger. That's to be expected. Episode 2 is most likely going to leave us on a cliffhanger. I did not expect anything less. There is a reason, though, that they gave us 2 episodes for the premiere instead of just 1. The first episode, supposedly, from what I'm hearing, is a lot slower and more character-driven and more of just establishing the time period. And without the 2-episode premiere, then a lot of people will be extremely upset with only getting 1 episode because it's slow and it's not really what the show has to offer. So the first 2 episodes are kind of better. And yes, episode 2 is most likely going to end on a massive cliffhanger so that we can talk about it for the next week, which they always like to do. But can we get some likes on this video, please? We got 69 nice people in the chat right now. Can I get 69 hello there's in the chat? 69 separate hello there's. Do not spam it in the chat, please. But can I get 69 hello there's in the chat? What did Rotten Tomatoes give Ahsoka, just for reference? We went over that. Very close. Only 2% off. Anthony, what's up? Says, Mike, I can't vote on this because I need a kind of category. After hearing about episode 3, my antennas are even up more. What threat to Lucas canon may concern? I have not heard about this. What about episode 3 concerning canon? I don't know what you're referring to, actually. I've not heard anything about episode 3 yet. I have not. Did you guys already review Filoni vs. Headland video? Or /Headland video? Yes, we did that last stream on Thursday when they sat down, directors on directors or whatever. Yeah. I love Andor. Me too. I loved Andor for sure. Mike, I gotta eat my pizza. I'll be back in a little while. Again, watching the premiere tonight is going to be a weird experience, completely opposite of watching The Mandalorian. I don't know about that. Andor had such great plot and pace, but the overall show was done better than any of the other series. But I do rank it lower than others because of other ways. What other ways? Yes, Andor was a great story. I mean, story-wise, it's fantastic. Every character that gets introduced, you don't know whether they can live or die because they're not really in anything else. From Bix to Luthen to all the people he went to Aldhani with that eventually end up dying. There's a lot. And yeah, the plot is great. The pace is great. Visually, it's fantastic. It got the budget it needed. It's over $250 million budget. Absolutely insane. But from what I've been hearing about the Acolyte show is that looks-wise, it might be some of the best we've ever seen from Star Wars. They used the volume a little bit, but they mostly used on-site locational filming, like the how they did the original trilogy and some more of the sequel trilogy and a little bit of current shows like Andor. They did more on-site stuff. So I think the visual effects of this show are going to be like top tier for sure. I should do a watch party tonight. We do have a watch party tonight. Yep. So if you guys are new around here, we do watch parties for the new shows. So at about 8:45 tonight, 15 minutes before showtime, we will be going live and we'll be doing a live watch party so you guys can come in and watch with the community. We can all react together and talk about it together. We'll watch through episode 1, give it a ranking out of 10, and then we'll immediately watch episode 2, and then we'll talk about both of them. And then after, I'll make a breakdown. But yeah, we do live watch parties, of course. Of course. I think that people forget about Andor is people forget about Andor is that the first few episodes were the weakest. It's hard to compare only a few episodes to an entire series. That is true. I remember watching the 3-episode premiere for Andor. If you guys remember, it was 3 episodes. The 3-episode premiere of Andor, and I liked it. But I just remember thinking, is this going to be the whole show? Because if you remember the first 3 episodes of Andor, it's a lot of flashbacks to when he was a kid. He's looking for his sister. He gets picked up by his adopted parents. And then the current day stuff is a little strange too. And it's a lot of weird stuff, but it does pick up a lot more after that, from the Aldani stuff to the prison break stuff with Kino Loy, One Way Out. And it really gets really good towards the end. But you got to give a show a chance. Because if you just watched the first 3 episodes of Andor and said, you know, who cares, then it wouldn't really matter. Yeah. You'd be like, you'd miss out on probably one of the best Star Wars shows there is. Hey, at least we have the lightsaber whip. Mark my words. Yeah, that's true. Lightsaber whip's going to be awesome. Awesome. Yeah, it's only 8 episodes. It's true. Abby, what's up? I haven't been this stoked for a Star Wars show since the first trailer, or for anything Star Wars, since the first trailer for episode 7. Really? You're that hyped up for the Acolyte? Wow. When was I this excited for a show? Honestly, I was probably this excited for a show. Maybe Tales of the Empire, but I think I'm more excited for this than I was Tales of the Empire. The Ahsoka. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I was excited for the Bad Batch, but up until the first trailer dropped, I wasn't that excited for the Bad Batch Season 3. Because the first 2 seasons of the Bad Batch are great, but they don't really mean that much to the rest of Star Wars. Season 3, however, is a masterpiece, and it's so phenomenal, but I didn't know that until we saw it. So it wasn't really until the Bad Batch Season 3 started till I was like, oh shit, okay, this is legit. And that's kind of when I got excited for the Bad Batch. But I'm excited for the Acolyte before it even happens, which I haven't really been that way since Ahsoka aired, I guess. Because Ahsoka's pretty much live-action Rebels, and Rebels is one of my favorites. Yeah. Oh, Rose with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, can you give us your best Admiral Akbar or Kino Loy? Oh, so if you guys don't remember, last Thursday was my birthday. Huge shout out to all you guys for the insane amount of birthday wishes in the Discord, on the live stream, on all of it. I appreciate it so much. It was an incredible birthday, incredible live stream, incredible everything. But I got a few Star Wars related things, as one does when they own a Star Wars channel and they talk about Star Wars all the time. I got some Star Wars gifts. And funny that you mentioned Admiral Akbar. It is so far up there. Hang on, I gotta stand up to get him. Funny that you mentioned Admiral Akbar. That's pretty good. I got that for my birthday. This one's from, I believe, The Force Awakens. Maybe. Yeah, it's got older Han Solo, Princess Leia on the back. Yeah. So, can I do Admiral Akbar or Kino Loy? Let me try Admiral Akbar. Okay. Admiral. I'll give you my best. It's a trap. Okay. Let's see it. Can I just get him saying it's a trap? Oh, there it is. It's a. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, let's try this.
It's a trap.
Okay.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. That's horrible. Hang on. Let's try again.
It's a trap.
Can I make my lips look like this? It's a trap. No, that makes my voice sound stupid. Okay, hang on. Let's try again.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. Damn, that's horrible. But I try my best. I appreciate it, Rose. I really, really do. That is a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate it. It does just sound like me sounding normal. It's a trap. I don't know. Okay. Where was I? And of course, guys, throw your craziest predictions for tonight's 2-episode premiere of The Acolyte in the chat. going to put Admiral Akbar right in front of Grogu. No. Put him here. He's going off to the side. Okay. Dark Sky says, oh, Cole Rita, what's up? Okay. Look at all these hello there's. That's hilarious. Okay. Where was I? Abby says, what's your opinion on the lightsaber whip? I know a lot of people are saying that it's a terrible idea, but I am really looking forward to seeing it. Here's my thing with the lightsaber whip. It's been in Legends for decades, so there's not much to complain about there. But I'm actually really enthusiastic to see different lightsabers. The lightsaber is one of the coolest aspects when it comes to Star Wars. It's the Force, and it's also lightsabers. Like, the two kind of go together. What makes Star Wars better than almost everything else, Pam, what's up? Almost everything else, any other franchise ever, is the Force and lightsabers. And a lightsaber hasn't really been altered in a long time. Yes, you have the crossguards of Kylo Ren. You see a crossguard in Star Wars Rebels. The crossguards have been around since the Old Republic. But to change a lightsaber, which is always just a beam of light that comes out to a certain point and stops, to change it into a whip or something else like a whip, to change it into anything is cool and innovative, and that's what we want. Yes, we're going back in time and getting a lightsaber whip, which is a little strange to me. Like, if we go to Rey's New Jedi Order and we're to get some new innovations when it comes to the lightsabers, that would also be kind of cool. But I'm excited. I'm very excited to see the lightsaber whip. I have heard a lot of people complaining about it already, but I want to see how they utilize it. Yeah, because if only Vanestra Rowe has one, I don't think she's going to be that big of a character in this show, so I don't think we're going to see it that much. And I do think we'll see her use it at least once, but I'm excited to see it. I'm excited. John Groom says, I'm actually quite intrigued to find out what the Jedi find out about the Sith, and who knows about it, and if so, are they covering it up? This wouldn't annoy me in any way. It would actually be pretty cool. I agree with that, but it would annoy a lot of Star Wars fans. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot, because the Sith aren't supposed to be around until the prequel trilogy. This is established in The Phantom Menace when Ki-Adi-Mundi says the Sith haven't been around for a millennia. A millennia is 1,000 years. Yes, Yoda and Mace Windu share a very strange look after that. Maybe they know something, maybe they don't. But a lot of Star Wars fans don't care. They'll be upset regardless. And it makes sense. It does make sense to be upset about that because it's an established thing in canon. And when you change that, especially when Disney changes something in canon, fans like to lose their mind. I would not be upset about it. I would not. Yoda seems to be keeping a lot of secrets in the prequel trilogy anyway, and this would make a lot more sense if he was, to me. But I am more intrigued to see who the bleepity bleep is this mysterious masked Sith Lord in the forest. Who is it? Because Leslie Headland seems to say that it is the apprentice of a Sith Lord who is training an Acolyte in the character of May. So it's likely that this masked, mysterious red lightsaber wielding badass is an apprentice to a Sith Lord, making him a Sith Lord, making him the Darth Maul of the time. By the time of The Phantom Menace, Darth Maul is the apprentice. This masked dude would be the apprentice at the time. Apprentice to Tenebris, apprentice to Plagueis, we don't know. But he's the apprentice to somebody. And that would mean that he's a Sith, and that would mean the Jedi are coming into contact with a Sith. And that changes a lot of things. So I'm going to put up a new poll because this poll's been up for a while now. And we almost have 100 votes on it. But let me put up this new poll. Do you think the Jedi will know, I can't type today, will know the Sith are around in the Acolyte? In the Acolyte. Do you think the Jedi will know that the Sith are around? Will it be revealed to the Jedi that the Sith are currently around and that there is a master and an apprentice and everything in between? What do we think? Do you think that will be revealed to the Jedi in this show? Star Wars guy says, you should do a watch party for the Acolyte. We are indeed. Grill Fit Warrior, what's up, says, hi, just got here. I hope the show turns out awesome. Me too. The Jedi use lightsaber whips in the High Republic books, so it's a great idea. Yeah, it's the same character too. It's Vanestra Rel. You mean 5:45? Well, it's different for wherever you are in the world, but for me, it's 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. The Acolyte kind of reminds me of Rogue One. In what way? In what way at all? Rogue One to me is more of like an Andor type project. Not a lot of Force users, not a lot of Jedi or Sith or anything. Dark Sky says, I have no expectations for this show. I'm going to go in open-minded. That's also a good way to look at it too. Going in completely open-minded is a good way because maybe it's really good, maybe it's really bad, but if you have an open mind and you're not listening to what other people are saying, then you're going to see it how you want to see it. And that's a good way to look at it. Joseph says, can Mike, the host, or anyone in this chat explain to me the origins of the Sith? Has the Sith origins ever been explained in any Star Wars movie or TV show? I don't know why you had to put that in all caps, but I mean, can I explain to you the origins of the Sith? I mean, I can give you a very brief history. So the Jedi were once referred to as the Jedi, and they were once just the original Force users. They grew up on Tython, or the planet of Tython, and they were all just Force users taken across the galaxy and brought to this one planet. They were brought there. They trained in the ways of the Force. They used both the light side and the dark side, and then they sort of split. Slowly but surely, they split into dark side users, light side users. The dark side users were kicked off the planet, and they kind of just split slowly but surely. Then you had Sith, then you had Jedi. They split off and became villains forever. That's the very brief description of what happened in literally 20 seconds. I think Dawn of the Jedi will explore this a lot more, but I guess we'll have to wait and see for that movie. Again, what I just explained to you is all legends currently, so that's also another thing. Canon, it's not really been explained, so we'll see. But that's kind of the origins of the Sith for you. Nestor says, I really want to see stuff that we've never seen before take place 100 years before the Phantom Menace. I want to see new Force abilities, clothing, new aliens, new topics, and vocabulary, unlike the original trilogy in the sequels. New vocabulary is actually really interesting. Because if you think about it, in the real world that we live in today, if you go back in a time machine 100 years to 1924, the way they speak English even would be so much more different. It would be like Old English. They'd be saying slang words that we don't even understand. Some of the stuff that we say, they wouldn't understand. It is very interesting. I never thought about that. Maybe the vocabulary, certain words that they use in this time period is different than the ones that we hear in the original trilogy and the sequels. That would be cool. But I agree with you. New Force abilities, maybe, but clothing, obviously, aliens, sure, but ships and droids, all that stuff has got to be new. It's got to feel different, but also the same. It's a weird balance that they have to do. Yeah, I'm intrigued. And with the trailers, we see all these new ships and some new droids too, and it looks awesome. Danny, what's up? Danny says, don't let the dark side deceive you. The Acolyte looks promising a lot for me, living in Belgium. Nice. Shout out to Belgium. I will look. I will look tomorrow evening. Okay, I appreciate you. Yeah, it looks promising to me too. Of course, the dark side will not deceive any of us, but there's a lot that it already has. Jack says, can I ask a strange question? Sure. I consider myself as a binger ever since I've had the love for Star Wars. I can't seem to finish any other shows. Is that normal? I mean, it's normal for me. If I ever go to sit down and watch a show, I'd rather watch Star Wars instead of starting a new show, if that's kind of what you mean. So I guess it's normal. I don't know. Nothing about me is normal, so you can't ask me any questions about being normal, okay? Don't even try. Thanks, Rose. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Anthony says, Mike, I'm back. Tonight's experience is going to be a weird one, especially because I'm a reader of the High Republic, and I'm well aware of the pitfalls that exists there too. In the High Republic, you're saying? I don't know what you mean. It's a trap. Grillfit Warrior says, I'm old enough to remember going to the drive-in to watch the original Star Wars before it was ever even called A New Hope. But I never read any of the books. Have any starting suggestions? Well, you could just read the novelizations of the movies. I mean, that would be kind of cool because you've already seen the movies. But there's a lot of Legends books that are really good. But I would say, because I'm just a big canon guy myself, stick to canon. Hang on, my voice is going away for a second. Can I get some good cups follow orders in the chat? That's completely empty. Bum-ba! This is a new shirt, by the way, too. I got this for my birthday, too. If new shirt. Book suggestions. Okay. Canon ones, I'd say Ahsoka's a pretty good one. Not Jedi Lost, sorry. What's the one with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan? Dooku Jedi Lost is a different one, but I'm talking about the Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan that came out like a year or two ago. Somebody help me on the chat. Whatever. Shadow of the Sith, if I haven't pulled that out a million times, that's really good. The Aftermath books are great. Thrawn Trilogy, fan-frickin-tastic. Thrawn Trilogy's really good. Canon novels. I mean, that's a good start. If you want Legend stuff, Plagueis is obviously the top of that list. Not even close. Also, Legends is like the Heir to the Empire trilogy, which is different from the Thrawn trilogy. I don't know. There's some great ones. I mean, it's not hard to find a really good canon Star Wars book to read. Yeah. Mr. Revenge, what's up? How's it going? So the live stream starts at 5:45, maybe for you, but for me it starts at 8:45. Watching the premiere of The Mandalorian in 2019 seemed absolutely fresh and open. The Acolyte seems tethered by outside and inside influences, not Star Wars itself. I actually disagree. I think The Acolyte has the ability to feel fresh and open because it's a new time period and it's new characters, new story, new ships, new droids, new species, new lightsabers, new force abilities. It's new if new has ever been defined as anything in Star Wars. Yeah. Dark Sky says, the OG Thrawn trilogy are great books. I also loved Shadow of the Empire and Darth Plagueis novel. Yeah, those are all Legends. And not that Legends is bad. Legends is great. But if you want to stick to canon stories, then yeah, you want to go with the other one. Fearless, what's up?
Hello there.
Mando United says, I'm going back to Tales of the Jedi. I watched the sequels on Sunday too. Nice. Tales of the Jedi is a great rewatch. I rewatched that on May the 4th, so just about a month ago. Exactly a month ago. Oh my God, it's already June 4th. That's crazy. But yeah, that's a great watch. I'm excited for more yellow lightsabers in live action. Me too. So yellow lightsabers are a fan favorite, I think. What's your... All right, chat, tell me in the chat. What is your favorite color of lightsaber? Tell me in the chat. I'm intrigued. Because I posted a short about Anakin or Hayden and Ewan talking about favorite colors of lightsabers. And yellow got brought up over and over and over and over again in the comment section. Over and over again. And yellow is extremely underrated because only the Jedi guards had them, and then very few characters had them from then until Rey has one at the end of the sequel trilogy. And yellow just looks so cool. And in this Acolyte show, we're going to see multiple Jedi with the yellow lightsaber, so it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah. Oh my God. We're all over the place. All over the place when it comes to these colors of lightsabers. Blue, red, white, red, yellow, cyan, nice. Green for sure. Huh. Purple's great too. Purple's awesome. Green's my favorite. Purple. I mean, Mace Windu made purple so good, but you're going to see purple in this too. A purple laser whip, actually. Yeah. A purple laser whip. red, black. Yeah, the Darksaber is unbelievable. It's just so different than anything else. It makes a different sound. It looks different. It literally looks like a sword itself. The Darksaber kind of is it's in its own world. Yeah. Orange is cool because it's Balin Skull and Shin Hati, and just recency bias with the Ahsoka show. It looks awesome. Mike, did you like the Jedi Order games? What color did you choose for Cal? Did I like the Jedi Order games? Absolutely yes. I thought Jedi Survivor was one of the greatest games I've ever played. Story-wise, action-wise, gameplay-wise. And Jedi Survivor is also very, very good. What lightsaber color did I choose? I think it was purple, but I could be wrong. I think I chose purple. I really don't remember, actually. Yeah. What about an invisible lightsaber? Well, that would be confusing. How would you know if it was active or not? Shin Hati? Oh, yeah. A brown lightsaber? That would be something. That would be something. Which Star Wars channel was my inspiration for starting my channel? That's actually a great question. There's a few. There's absolutely a lot. Obviously, say what you will about the guy. Star Wars Theory has done insane things for the Star Wars community, and he is a reason for a lot of people who create their Star Wars channels. He's definitely a big influence. Josh from the Den of Nerds, huge shout out to Josh. Appreciate you. He was, I used to watch him almost regularly, or almost daily, I should say. I haven't been as much, obviously, because I have work to do of my own. But there is an invisible lightsaber. What? Where is this invisible lightsaber from? Yeah. So, and obviously, Star Wars Explained. Star Wars Meg, because I still think she's AI. I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot of people who kind of helped me out and helped me out along the way, but also sort of inspired me to start my channel. Inspired me, or helped me out along the way. Got a huge shout outs to Will Diamond Figs. Go give him some love. Obviously, Tony, Star Wars Sith. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, go subscribe to him. There's a lot who've helped me out along the way. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Adam says, do you think that Darth Tenebris... Do you think Darth Tenebris... I think his name... Wait, what? I think he'll be a Bith still in canon? Is that what you're asking? I don't know if Darth Tenebris is going to even be in this show. I don't. I think if anybody's going to be the Master, it's more likely to be Plagueis. Because Plagueis is more of a known character to just normie Star Wars fans. Because have you heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I think that would sort of register with some more normie fans than Darth Tenebris. Because that's like, who the hell's that? I don't know. We'll see. Brandon Altman says, speaking of Legends, would you rather see Legends comics turned into movies versus unknown stories from scratch that could bomb? Oh, so you're saying, would I rather see Legends material be brought into canon or just unknown stories? I like a mix of both. I like that Ahsoka takes characters from Legends like Thrawn and aspects of Legends storytelling, like the Heir to the Empire trilogy, but also changes it to be its own story so that not only is it just not a copy and paste of what already came before in that Legends trilogy, but now both stories can be good and exist together. So I think the Acolyte has the chance to do that. The Acolyte has the chance to integrate Legends material while also making it new, fresh, and exciting. Laser whips, for example. They've been around in Legends for a long time, but bringing them into canon, you can do insane stuff on screen with them, and it'll be really, really cool. Darth Thor says, the Jedi were lying about the Sith. I believe so too. Yeah. Star Wars fans be like, I want something new. Star Wars does something new. Fans be like, why are you doing new things? Disney sucks. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't say it better myself. That's absolutely true. Star Wars fans always complain that everything seems to be the exact same. The biggest complaint about The Force Awakens was that it's a carbon copy of, or almost a carbon copy of A New Hope. A main character who lives on a desert, escapes the desert, goes off and joins the rebellion and is fighting against this evil empire or first order where there's this mysterious emperor type or Snoke, and then there's a masked villain, Vader, Kylo. There's a planet-killing weapon, Starkiller base in the Death Star. It's very, very similar. And they want new, and then new comes out and they hate it or they have complaints about it because it's new and it's not the same as what they remember. Make up your minds. You can't have both. You can't have both. But it is funny. It's very well said. Very well said. I do wonder if the Sith are hiding at the time of the Acolyte. Well, we know for a fact that the Sith are around at the time of the Acolyte. Us as the audience knows. We know that Tenebrous was around. We know that Plagueis was around eventually. We just don't really know who and when. But we know that they were at least around. The rule of two was always in effect from 1,000 years ago to the time of the Phantom Menace. That's without a doubt. It's only the fact that the Jedi don't know about their existence. Because from a certain point of view, the Jedi's point of view, they think that the Sith have been gone. They think the Sith have been dead for 1,000 years. But that's not the case. Us as the audience knows that the Sith has always been around. Yeah. Oh, Kit Fisto with a very generous $1 holla. First ever super chat, too. I appreciate that, Kit Fisto. I really, really do. But you didn't put a message with it, Kit Fisto. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, he did, actually. He said, can you do an impression of Salacious B. Crumb? That is tough. I can try. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Maybe I can do his laugh or something.
Artu, you're playing the wrong message.
Solo.
Hang on. Hang on. Let's try this again. Let's just look up his laugh. Because obviously he doesn't talk. But here we go. Here's his laugh. Oh my God. Thanks a lot, Kit Fisto. You think I can make that noise? You really think I can make that noise with my vocal cords? Hang on. It's such an evil laugh. I don't think I can get that high. Hang on, let me take a long sip of water. Can we get some love for Salacious B. Crumb, honestly? He's underrated. Okay. Let's try this. Let's listen one more time and then we'll try my best. That's crazy. How am I supposed to make that noise? Okay, there we go. I don't know. I tried. I can't get any higher than that. Like that's the peak highness of my voice. That probably wasn't a male voice, if I were to guess. I just can't get my voice any higher than that. I tried. I appreciate it, Kit Fisto. Very, very generous. I appreciate it. Okay. Where was I? Where was I? Fearless says, I'm pumped for this show. Can't believe that it's going to be here in only a couple hours. Yes, we only have, what is it now, 6 hours? 6 hours until showtime. John says, I played the Jedi Counselor. Oh, I played a Jedi Counselor in Knights of the Old Republic. There we go. And green is the Kyber crystal you get. So green has been my go-to ever since. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of like what you grew up on almost when it comes to even lightsaber colors. It's very similar to which Star Wars you like. If you grew up on the original trilogy, that's usually what you like. If you grew up on the prequels, that's what you like. If you grew up on the Clone Wars or the sequels or Mando or whatever it is, that's usually what you attach yourself to. And that's kind of similar with what like your first lightsaber color kind of is too, if I'm being honest. Yeah. A turd saber? Nice. Nice. Have you seen the new toy for Balin's Skull? Maybe? I don't know. Love Josh? Yeah, we do. Love Josh. Yeah, we do. Imagine stabbing yourself with an invisible lightsaber thinking you turned it off, LOL. Yeah, that would be a disaster. Yeah. Star Wars Meg and Star Wars Explains are great channels. Yes, they are. Huge shout out to them. But Meg is definitely an AI. Meg, if you're watching, we know that you are. Reach out because I got to know. If you're an AI and I'm right this whole time, I got to know. I got to know. Theory said last night that he's either going to love Acolyte or he's going to tear it to shreds. This is such an odd perspective. I mean, obviously he hasn't seen the show yet, so he can't really have that big of a perspective on it. So he's probably, hopefully going in with an open mind, like we all should be. Yeah. Not as bad as Mike Zero. Yeah, I mean, never talked to the guy either. Don't know anything about him personally, but his tactics are a little strange to me. Just making up fake news stories doesn't really help the community, I don't think. I think Osha will be the Acolyte. Ooh, that's a crazy prediction right there. I don't think so. If I were to say so myself, I think May is definitely going to be the Acolyte, and Osha will be his twin sister. I watch Mike Zero to laugh. There you go. How old does Plagueis species live for? That's a great question. So Plagueis is a Mun. And Mun in Star Wars, again, a lot of this is still legends, though, because we haven't seen many Mun in Star Wars, and a lot of the information about their species is still legends. But as far as we know, they can live up to 200 plus years old, especially if he has the dark side of the Force. So he could easily be alive by the time of the Acolyte. We are not sure when he dies, how old he is. But in theory, he could be around. Could be. Yeah. Adam says, no, he will be in the Acolyte. I think I spelled his name wrong. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Do I think that May is going to die by the end of the show? Yes, I do. I actually think a lot of people are going to die by the end of the show that we don't really expect. Maybe even, like, I think Master Indara is going to die in the first episode. In probably one of the first scenes, actually. So I think a lot of death is coming our way. I think this is going to be a darker show than we ever really imagined. There's a lot of horror aspects to the show when we see the masked, mysterious red lightsaber wielding guy in the forest. It's a little bit of a horror vibe. But it feels like a darker show. It's a murder mystery in Star Wars. So it's definitely on the darker side. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I love that spark of legends is being brought into new stories. Yeah, it is cool because think about it. The people who are making Star Wars now are people who grew up on Legends. There's a time period between the original trilogy and the prequels, a 16-year gap where there was no Star Wars content. So we're sitting here talking about how we're getting a few shows this year, a few shows next year, a movie in a couple of years, another movie. Like, we're talking about all this Star Wars content. And it almost feels like it's not even enough. Imagine not getting a single Star Wars piece of content for 16 years. So those people grew up on Legends. They grew up on novels and not canon stories, the extended universe, the EU. And now those people who grew up on those stories are the ones creating Star Wars. It's Dave Filoni. It's Leslie Headland. It's Jon Favreau. It's the people who are creating the content now. So those people grew up with these Legends characters and Legends ideas, and now they're integrating them into the current canon story, which is great. It's fan-freaking-tastic. The Star Wars guy says, I don't like Disney for a lot of things, but the Acolyte can maybe save it for me. Here's my thing. Disney Star Wars. I don't understand the whole narrative of Disney killed Star Wars. Did I miss something? Yes, I'm not the biggest fan of the sequel trilogy, but I do think that The Force Awakens is a pretty good movie. Rogue One is a masterpiece. The Mandalorian, also a masterpiece. Ahsoka, did I say piece? Star Wars Rebels, 4 seasons, masterpiece. Clone Wars, Andor, Bad Batch, 3 seasons. It just, how? It makes no sense to me at all. The whole narrative of Disney ruined Star Wars is completely a fluke, not a fluke, it's a lie. It's a straight up lie. To anybody who has 2 eyes, I would say. But, I don't know. The Acolyte's still up in the air. That's the biggest thing. Oh, it's the same creature that Morgan fights when he's in Rebels? Is there a Salacious Crumb species in Rebel? What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Mun can live around 200 years old, give or take. Yeah, and when it comes to the dark side, it's a pathway to things that some consider to be unnatural. Yeah. Here's my question, though. Would you need some knowledge beforehand for this Acolyte show? No. So it's supposed to be created in the way that you don't need anything. You don't need to know anything going in. It's a brand new cast of characters, from Master Soul to May to everybody in between. It's a brand new cast of characters, so you don't really need much information going in ahead of time, except for where it takes place in the timeline, which is 100 years before the Phantom Menace. And that's about it. You don't really need to know much else. Yeah. Yeah. Plagueis died in the time of the Phantom Menace. Yes, he died during the events of the Phantom Menace movie. True. Yes. Indeed. John Groom says Plagueis stood high up on a balcony while Qui-Gon first brought Anakin. I got it wrong twice. Back to the Jedi Temple on Coruscant and looked through the Force at him and saw Vader for the very first time. That's true, but that again is Legends. For now, it could be brought into canon just how it is. That's all from the Plagueis novel. It could be brought into canon, but for now it's not. Yeah. Loyal Apple says George Lucas and the EU was better. Okay, here's the deal. I think that a lot of Star Wars stuff, from The Mandalorian to Ahsoka to Rebels to Clone Wars, Season 7, I guess, because the other 6 seasons were created by George, all of that stuff lives up to the same level of the George stuff. Now, here's the thing. George created Star Wars. The original trilogy is peak Star Wars, all 3 films. The prequel trilogy is peak Star Wars. To me, all 3 films. A lot of people don't really like Attack of the Clones. They don't like The Phantom Menace, whatever. Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie ever created. Maybe it is the best Star Wars anything ever created. So yes, Star Wars, George Lucas's Star Wars, which is every Star Wars content, whatever, but George Lucas created Star Wars, is amazing. It's peak. It's fan-frickin-tastic. But that doesn't mean that stuff that's been created over the last 5 years also isn't on that same level. If that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. When George said they sort of forgot how the Force works, then George said they forgot how the Force works. He was talking about the critics. I don't know what you're referring to. Brandon Altman says, I do think that the Wookiee will be the first one that gets cut down in a gets cut down to a 1-to-1 as well. Might be cool. What? Oh, Kelnaka, you're saying, from the Acolyte? I get you. Rotten Tomatoes turned off the audience score. Did they really? Hang on, let's go check that out. What's up, Derpy? Oh my God, they turned off the audience score. So here's what happened, okay? The audience score, as we looked at it before, was at a 47. And the amount of bad reviews that was coming in on a show that hasn't been released yet is absolutely insane. So they literally just had to turn off the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's wild. And by the way, it's already gone up 2% since we started the stream. It started at 83 when I posted it earlier on Twitter, and now it's all the way up to 85. Interesting. That's fascinating. It makes sense. I mean, the show hasn't been released yet to the audiences, so it makes sense that the audience score isn't out yet, but it's crazy that they bombed it so bad in the audience review that they had to shut it off. That's bonkers. That's crazy. Okay, let's watch some of these trailers. Let's watch some of these trailers for the Acolyte that we haven't watched yet, okay? We got quite a few. This first TV spot is actually really, really cool. And it gives us our first look at like OSHA right next to this new Sith dude, and it's not Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. And we get to hear that Sith Lord's voice. So let's watch this. This came out a few days ago, but let's watch it anyway.
The Jedi live in a dream.
Stand down!
I didn't do it!
But an acolyte kills the dream.
Star Wars.
So, only a 26, 30-second trailer, but it's a lot going on here. We get our first sort of hearing. I was going to say look at, but we get our first hearing of the mysterious Master Sith Lord. And he says that the Jedi live in a dream.
The Jedi live in a dream.
Stand down!
And we get a flash between Osha and May, the two twins. Osha to May. She's smiling. She's very more serious. Then we see Osha standing here in a burning forest.
Stand down!
As somebody says, stand down.
I didn't do it!
This is when she crash lands on the ice planet.
But an acolyte kills the dream.
But an acolyte kills the dream. So what this mysterious Master Sith Lord is talking about here is that the Jedi have been the keepers of the peace, and they've been at the height of the whole galaxy for hundreds of years since the Sith have sort of disappeared. And they live in a dream. It's a perfect dream with no war, no nothing. They just keep the peace and everything's fine. But the Acolyte, they kill that dream as they start to kill and murder Jedi. And what's really interesting is when he says that, we see Osha waking up from a dream. She's waking up from a sleep. She might be having some sort of twin connection here through the Force or whatever with her sister, who is currently murdering Jedi. We get some very quick flashes of some pretty cool stuff here. A speeder, very similar to Return of the Jedi, going through the forest on Endor. Who is that? You got Kelnaka on one and the curly-haired dude on another. You got Osha screaming her heart out here about something. Then you get our first amazing look, and this is the thumbnail of today's live stream as well, at Osha, not May, Osha standing face to face with the creepy, masked, mysterious Sith Lord here. Very, very cool trailer. Very, very cool. I mean, talk about getting you hyped up. Wild. We do have some other ones to get to here, so let's watch those as well. Let's see. Oh, by the way, this trailer just dropped today for the Hunter game. Has anybody ever seen or played this? Give me a 1 into the chat if you have seen this Hunters game, Star Wars Hunters. It's a new game. I believe it's on Switch. Might be on consoles as well. We can watch that if you guys want to, but yeah. Okay, let's watch this. This is only 19 seconds long.
Star Wars.
So there are no new scenes in this one, but you get the Acolyte source. Mandela Steinberg and Li Shang-Cha shine, who's of course Master Soul, and May. Fresh storytelling in an unexplored area of Star Wars.
Star Wars.
The Acolyte. Okay, that was a very short one. Let's go to the next one. This one is, I believe, the making of or something like that. Yeah, creating the combat. So this is the one I was talking about earlier on in the stream, where they're really talking about how much attention to detail they spent on the choreography and just the action sequences in this show. They really put the time and effort into making them look extremely cool and similar to the prequel trilogy. Very similar. Yeah. Okay. So let's watch this. Let's watch this.
And action.
If I had been told that I was going to fight Carrie-Anne Moss, I probably would have had a heart attack.
Cut.
Nice.
Training for the Acolyte was really challenging. Today, I feel a tad like a truck hit me. It was very important to me that the show feel visceral and that the fight sequences feel jaw-dropping.
Literally one of the most important things to the creator of this show, Leslie Edlund, is that the action sequences felt jaw-dropping. That is the biggest thing. We've talked about the problems with the fight scenes in the sequel trilogy and how people come up all the time and say that it's horrible. It's not the same as even the prequel trilogy or even the animated shows or even the shows themselves like The Mandalorian or Ahsoka. Like that choreography and those fight sequences are so much better, and they spent their time in this one really figuring that out. We also get a look here at our curly-haired Jedi dude who's about to die. To May.
There's very high energy, high octane stunt work. What they've done to create these fights is insane.
We took the heavy martial arts, the hand-to-hand combat, all the different styles, and mixed them together to build these sequences.
We use Taekwondo, karate, Krav Maga, Western boxing.
It is some of the craziest fights.
It's very powerful.
This is pretty special.
Pretty special indeed. And I just saw somebody, it just flashed by me in the chat. Somebody just said in the chat, I'm looking for a reason to not like this show. And that's kind of where I'm at too. Honestly, I'm not looking for a reason to not like the show, but I'm more so saying this show looks incredible. And I don't see a single thing in any of these trailers, any of this behind the scenes, anything that makes me think this show's not going to be great. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be insanely cool lightsaber duels, insanely cool combat sequences that are going to be amazing. We've talked about best lightsaber duels in all of Star Wars before. I'm not saying that there is going to be one of the greatest lightsaber duels ever in this show, but I've heard rumor. Keep it with a grain of salt because it's just a rumor for now, that there is an over 20-minute lightsaber duel in one of these episodes. 20 minutes. Now, maybe it's cutting back and forth like in Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin versus Obi-Wan, it cuts back and forth to Yoda versus Palpatine or whatever. Maybe it's cutting back and forth to something else. But 20 minutes of a lightsaber duel in a 40-minute episode? If that's true, if this rumor is to be found true, what? I don't know. I really don't see anything that doesn't get me more and more excited about this show. In that trailer in particular, the amount of time spent on the choreography, that proves to me one thing and one thing only. Disney, Lucasfilm, whoever you want to call them, Dave Filoni, Kathleen Kennedy, whoever, they're listening. They're listening. Because Star Wars fans over the last 5, 6, 7 years have been complaining about the choreography, about the lightsaber duels in the sequel trilogy and how robotic they feel, how heavy the lightsabers feel, and how different they feel from the prequel trilogy. And guess what? They're listening. That's why they've released 2 trailers about how important the combat, the choreography in this show is. Because they're listening. And they're fixing along the way. And it's a great sign to see because this Acolyte show is going to be chock full of incredible lightsaber sequences. And I can't freaking wait. But we got one more trailer to actually watch. This one came out yesterday, but let's watch this one. This was like the sort of coming out tomorrow, The Acolyte. Let's watch this one.
Someone is killing Jedi. It doesn't make sense. There's no method, no pattern. Who's next?
This is a fight that you will not win.
Let me bring her in.
I didn't do it!
Star Wars.
So a few new scenes in this, but also just the music. Feels very suspenseful and kind of horror vibe. But a few new scenes in this as well, and important ones at that. Let's just start from the beginning again.
Someone is killing Jedi.
Someone's killing Jedi, but what he says after this is pretty important.
It doesn't make sense. There's no method, no pattern. Who's next?
There's no method or pattern to how they are killing the Jedi. That's really interesting. Because we know that May's obviously the one killing the Jedi. She's killing them with knives. We've talked about why knives and why she's not stealing their lightsabers and killing them with lightsabers. What's going on? But there's no pattern or method. Now, we've talked about this. We've speculated about this at length for 2 hours during a live stream where we broke down what we think's going on. The witches are destroyed a long time ago, or not that long ago, but they are killed by the Jedi quite a while ago. And now May has grown up, learned in the dark side of the Force, trained in the dark side of the Force, and now is exacting her revenge on the Jedi. And she's hunting down Jedi and murdering them because she sees them as a threat. But there is no pattern, and there is no real evidence to suggest that who it is, except for the fact that we came up with live that it's the people who are being murdered, Master Indara, curly-haired dude, are the ones who were there at the Witch's Coven when it blew up and started this whole damn thing. So the only 4 Jedi that were there were Master Indara, Master Soul, Kelnaka, and curly-haired dude. If Master Indara's dead and curly-haired dude's dead, Kelnaka's next and Master Soul is after that, or maybe vice versa. And that's the pattern. But right here, Yord says that there is no pattern yet.
No pattern. Who's next?
I still don't know who's dead on the floor here. This one is interesting. Because their lightsaber is cut in half or something. And, I mean, are we led to believe that that's Soul over there? Or Kelnaka maybe even? Because we know that Indara dies, or is going to die most likely, in that cantina.
No pattern.
And we know that this curly-haired dude's going to die in this room. But somebody's outside.
Pattern. No pattern.
And we don't know who that is. Dead body over there.
Pattern. Who's next?
This is a fight that you...
This is very interesting too. She says, this is a fight you will not win. This is clearly a flashback sequence. Indara looks a lot younger. Soul has shorter hair and looks a lot younger. This is one of the flashback sequences. This is a fight you will not win. So the only conversation that they could be having in a flashback sequence like this is about the witches. And the fact that this is not a fight that you will win against these witches. Because they probably have Force abilities that we don't really know about yet. Or maybe it's a fight with his new apprentice, Osha. Maybe she wants to go home or something. I don't know. Either way, this is a fight he will not win, and it is a part of the flashback sequence. We don't know who kills the witches. We don't. Whether it's the Jedi, whether it's the Sith, whether it's somebody else, we don't know. But this is pretty interesting.
It's a fight that you will not win.
This whole sequence outside this moon in this sort of glass ring around the planet, whatever it is going to be pretty important. I think this is where we see Master Soul finding Osha, and that's when they crash land into the ice planet.
Let me bring her in.
I didn't do it!
I didn't do it! We got a fight sequence here between Jackie here, who's played by Daphne Keane, and the masked Sith Lord. So it looks like it's just a one-on-one here, even though we know for a fact that there are 8 Jedi in this forest fighting against the mysterious masked Sith. But Jackie's got 2 lightsabers here. Now maybe she picked one off the ground because maybe somebody died and she's fighting against the Sith. I don't know. Or maybe she's got 2 lightsabers like she's Ahsoka or something. I really don't know. It's probably more likely that she picked up a second lightsaber and she's just fighting for her life. And maybe all the Jedi do die in this sequence. I really don't know. I mean, at one point there's 8 Jedi, and right now we see just 1-on-1. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that all 8 of the Jedi that enter the forest and fight against the Sith Lord are all going to die? Tell me in the chat, what do we think? Because that's a 1-on-1 right there between Jackie and that mysterious Sith dude. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, oh yeah, I forgot I had this article pulled up. I got an article pulled up about the run times for the first 4 episodes coming from Bespin Bolton, so we can read this too. Jackie's been my favorite from this Acolyte show. I've always loved her since I saw the poster. She's going to be an interesting one. She's not my favorite coming in, but she is a cool one. She's the new apprentice to Master Soul. The old apprentice was Osha at one point. They kind of baited that ideal already, that all those Jedi are going to die. But here's the thing. If all those Jedi in the forest die, that means Master Soul's going to die. Yord is going to die. And Jackie's going to die because they're all in that scene. That also means this supposed Keldor Plo Koon-looking Jedi character that we see in the forest with them is also going to die. And that's impossible because Plo Koon's in the prequel trilogy. I don't know. That whole sequence is going to be pretty interesting. And I wonder if it's going to happen in the first couple episodes. Because we know when it comes to Star Wars shows, we usually don't see any scenes from the second half of the series. It's usually that the first couple episodes are where we see all the scenes from the trailer from. To me, it seems almost impossible for that to happen with this show. If that fight between the masked Sith Lord and those 8 Jedi happen in the first 4 episodes, where do we go from there? What happens next? What are the next 4 episodes about? Plagueis? Tenebris? Or it's just May? I really don't know. But, I mean, it's going to be fascinating to see who this mysterious masked Sith Lord is. And I actually think, I truly believe that he's going to die very soon. Like, we're going to see May have conversations with him, but as soon as he confronts the Jedi, I think he's going to die. 8 Jedi versus 1 guy with a red lightsaber who's an apprentice to a Sith Lord, not even a Sith Lord himself. I think he's going to die. And it's going to be like a lot of hype up. It's going to be another Marok. We're going to be Maroked yet again. I think this masked Sith Lord is going to die very soon on in the show. And then they might even establish that Plagueis is around. And maybe even May will come face to face with Plagueis. Not the Jedi, but May will. I don't know. It'll be interesting. What if this is the loophole? What if this is the loophole? Instead of having the Jedi find out that the Sith are around, and then they just are okay with that and keep it a secret, what if they kill them? What if they think that the Master and Apprentice is May and this masked creature, and they kill both of them? Maybe the masked dude first. Darth Zipperface, I believe we're calling him. What if they kill Darth Zipperface first, and then by the end of the show, they also kill May? So they just assume that the Sith are gone. We did it. Yay, we did it. Would that make sense? Would that be a good way to go about this? Yes, it would mean that the Sith were around at one point within the last millennia, but they could keep that a secret. If they know that the Sith are around and they're still alive, that's a problem. But if they know that the Sith are around and they kill them both, May and Darth Zipperface, and they think that the Sith are dead again, and then instead of telling people that the Sith came back, they're just like, let's just keep it that they were dead for a millennia. That would be nice, right? Why not? Why give them the trouble of reminding them that the Sith came back? It was just one hard day, maybe a week. We don't need to remind them of that. I don't know. What do we think? What do we think? I think Jackie takes his head off, which is why we see the helmet on the ground. Could be. Could be. I'd like to see that. I'd like that. I think the flashbacks will be the main story in the premiere, which leads to Indara's death. I actually don't think so. I think they've learned their lesson again when it comes to flashback scenes with Andor and with the Book of Boba Fett. The Book of Boba Fett is almost, in the first 4 episodes, more flashback than it is current day stuff. So I think, yes, the flashbacks are going to be an important part to May's origins and Osha's origins and even a younger Jedi cast. But I think the main story is still going to be the more important one, and that will be told very clearly. Yeah. I hope that Master Soul survives. He's the coolest. I think he might survive. He's going to survive the forest with the Sith, I think. But I don't know if he's going to survive the entire show. That remains to be seen. Yeah. Soul's the coolest. He is definitely very cool. I think Soul will die halfway through episode 7. Oddly specific. David, what's up? David says, I think Yoda or Mace are the only two that know the truth about the Sith. Everyone else, would they... Everyone, or else, how would they know about the rule of 2? Oh, okay, I get you. So this is how they established the rule of 2 and how Yoda knows about it. That does make a lot of sense. You know that Yoda knows about the rule of 2 from the Phantom Menace because he says, only 2 there are, no more, no less. But if the Sith have been around, or have been gone since 1,000 years ago, when the rule of 2 got put into place, then how would Master Yoda know about the rule of 2? What if this show, The Acolyte, is not only a murder mystery, cool investigation story, but it's also a way to fix the plot hole of how the hell does Yoda know about the rule of 2? Because it is a plot hole. How does he know? If the Sith have been extinct since they went extinct, since the rule of 2 got put into place, then how would Master Yoda know about that? It needs to be fixed. It needs to be explained. So if the Acolyte establishes that there is a rule of 2 and Yoda finds out about that, maybe by interrogating May or doing whatever. Imagine that. Imagine a scene where May gets captured by the Jedi, brought to the Jedi Temple, and Yoda interrogates her. That would be awesome. Probably not going to happen, but it would be awesome. Maybe the Jedi find out about the rule of 2 via this show. That would be awesome. I'd be down for that. I would totally be down for that. Would you guys be down for that? I'd be down. Loyal Apple, love the name, by the way. What is your profile picture? I have no idea what that is. Hang on, let's get a closer look. I have no clue. The Jedi can't know. Jedi not telling the Council is traitor behavior. That's true, but by the time of the prequel trilogy, the Jedi are quite corrupt. Quite. And as far as we know, it happened a lot sooner, or at least it slowly happened a lot sooner before the prequel trilogy. Like, that corruption takes time. Yoda is 800 years old. Yeah, by the time of the prequels, he's 800. He dies at about, 850? Something like that? Yeah. Neon Victor says, you can actually hear the voice of the mysterious Sith in one of the teasers if you haven't seen it. We just watched it, Neon Victor. Where have you been? We literally just watched it. I think the Jedi cover-up theory, like the magic ministry in Harry Potter, makes a lot of sense. That's actually really true. I never even thought about that. Harry Potter has a very, very similar sort of story told in that same sort of vein. That's true. I never thought about that. The Star Wars guy says, I hope that May has a heroic death if she does die. Me too. I think as an audience, we're going to see that May, and from her point of view, she is the good guy. At least in her own mind. Because the Jedi are going to be seen as the ones who destroyed her home and her family. And us as the audience might actually feel for her. And I'm not saying that we're going to be like, yeah, go murder them, but we're going to be like kind of on her side. Yeah. I hope that they do it that way, because this is the Acolyte. It's supposed to be from the point of view of the villains or of the Acolyte, May. And I hope we actually feel for her specifically, as she's even murdering these Jedi who are supposed to be the good guys. To be honest, before the Darth Bane books came out, I thought what Yoda said was more of him saying than actually knowing of the rule of two. But he knows the rule of two. Like him in The Phantom Menace saying that there always two there are, no more, no less. That's exactly what he says. And then Mace Windu says, but which do we kill, the Master or the Apprentice? That's the end of The Phantom Menace. Establishing that both of those two characters know about the rule of two. At least Yoda does, and he's telling Mace Windu about them. But how does he know about it? How? We really have no clue at all. Yoda secretly a Sith? Yeah, there you go. there you go. Yoda is secretly a Sith the entire time. He's working in cahoots with Palpatine to destroy the Sith, to destroy the Jedi Order. Yeah. The Jedi 700 years ago probably told those stories, and he forgot until it became an issue. But how would the Jedi ever find out about the rule of two? They wouldn't know. They never know. If the Sith haven't been seen for a millennia, they wouldn't know. Tony, oh my goodness. Tony with a very generous $10 holla. God damn. Says, excited for the Acolyte tonight, Mike. Could you impersonate the character of Benamu from Lightsaber Lost? What? IPM? IP personal message to a sample video. Okay. Let's see it, Tony. Who is this?
Well, Banamu, I assume.
Who are you,
Oh my god.
Who are you, What do you want,
My lightsaber, you slimy thief. I want it back. Now!
I no have it, I swear!
He almost sounds like Watto a little bit.
I got rid of it, yeah. I almost killed myself with that thing.
What did you...
Okay, let's try this.
My lightsaber, you slimy assume.
Who are you, What do you want?
Who are you? What do you want?
My lightsaber, you slimy thief. I want it back. Now!
I no have it, I swear!
Hey, I no have it, I swear. He almost is a combination of Jar Jar Binks meets Watto. I honestly think like that might be the combination of these two characters. And honestly, Tony, huge shout out to you for the $10 holler, but that was a fairly good impression, I do believe. Unlike the last two that you've sent in, and I appreciate it. Okay, that was pretty good. That's pretty good. I never, like, how are you even remembering these characters' names? That's my thing. I appreciate it, Tony. Very, very generous. Very, very generous. No worries, Victor. No worries. Just messing with you. I'm just curious on this era. Yeah, it's cool to go to a new time period in the Star Wars galaxy. We've never been here before. That's what's honestly the most intriguing baseline, most intriguing thing about this Acolyte show. Simple as that. We are 100 years before anything we've ever seen in Star Wars. And that's never happened before. And in about 5 hours, we're going to get to see that with our own two eyes, which is very, very cool. Yeah. The rule of two started after the Sith were defeated, so the Jedi wouldn't know. Exactly. So the Sith were defeated, and Darth Bane thought it would be best if there were only two, a master and an apprentice, so that they would have all the power of the dark side and be able to become the all-powerful beings in the galaxy with the dark side abilities. And that's why the rule of two was put into place. And then for 1,000 years, there was only a master and only an apprentice, and the Jedi didn't know about them. So how does Yoda find out about them? It's an unanswered question that needs to be answered. So Osha is being framed for being a bad person. Osha is the prime suspect because maybe a description of the murderer got out or something. I don't know. Obviously, she looks like her sister. They're twins. So somehow, some way, Sol and the other Jedi are going to know to go find Osha and interrogate her, or maybe they think it's her who's murdering the Jedi. Who knows? Some way, somehow, Osha's going to be dragged into this, and somehow have some sort of pull on the story. Yeah, I wonder if Osha's going to die. I don't know. Fearless says, yeah, and when Yoda is still a young block, the Jedi probably still knew more about the Sith than all of the centuries later. So Yoda could be aware of all of that concerns with the Sith. He still wouldn't know the rule of two, though, because the Jedi didn't know about the rule of two at that point in the time period. Yeah. Alex says, could Yoda know because of the Sith artifacts that were in the Jedi Temple? Remember in Dooku Jedi Lost, Dooku and Sifo-Dyas sneak into a place in the Jedi Temple where there are a lot of Sith artifacts? Yeah, so there's a lot of Sith artifacts in the Jedi Temple. That is true. But I wouldn't assume, like, these Sith artifacts are probably from thousands of years ago. The time of the Old Republic even, or even before that. Like the old Sith Jedi artifacts that are from thousands of years ago. I don't think Sith would be creating artifacts in the time period where they're supposed to be laying low as just the rule of two. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's still a big thing that needs to be explained, whether it is due to the Sith artifacts or Yoda actually comes into contact with the Sith. Nestor says, I hope we are all wrong and they surprise us with something way better than our predictions. Well, here's the thing. We've had millions upon trillions upon quadrillions of predictions about all these trailers that we've seen. And I think probably 90% of them are wrong. And throw me your craziest predictions, of course, in the chat right now. But I think a lot of our predictions are wrong, and a lot of things are going to be twists and turns that we don't see coming in this show. Yes, the trailers have shown us a lot, but trailers can be deceiving all the time. I bring up again The Mandalorian Season 1. Grogu, Baby Yoda at the time, I guess, but Grogu was never seen once or teased at once in any of the promotion or trailers for the first season of The Mandalorian. And guess what? He's the main freaking character. He's at the end of episode 1, and he's in the rest of the show as the main character. And he's not in any of the advertisements. So they can really trick you with a lot of these trailers and advertisements for the show, and then maybe something completely different happens in the show. We really don't know. So until we see this show with our own two eyes, we have no idea what to expect. Yes, we know that somebody's murdering Jedi, but that's about it. That's all we really know. We don't know who this mysterious masked Darth Zipperface is. We don't know if Plagueis is around. We don't know if Tenebris is behind the scenes. We don't know anything, pretty much, at this point. So a lot is still up in the air. So I say again, throw your craziest predictions in the chat. Loyal Apple says, EU lore says Sith holocrons found is how Yoda knows. Really? Interesting. Ancient Sith holocrons. Again, though, ancient Sith holocrons could mean anything. Could mean a Sith holocron from Tenebris, or it could be a Sith holocron from Malgus. Like, it could be anybody from thousands of years ago to hundreds of years ago. Yeah. All of this information about the Sith were in the Forbidden Archives in the Jedi Temple, and only Jedi Masters could access it. Hence why Anakin went to the dark side, if only he was made a Master. You don't think that Anakin would have just, even if he was made a Master, he would have went into that place with all the Sith artifacts and then learned the dark side of the Force and become evil even quicker? Like, Palpatine still had his claws in Anakin. It wasn't like that was the only reason he turned, was because he didn't get a seat on the council. Even though he did, he just wasn't granted the rank of Master. Keto, what's up? Keto says, we first have to know when exactly the Sith went extinct, before Bane's rule of two or after. Yeah, true. Again, the Bane trilogy is also still Legends. So all this Legends material has to be integrated into canon in some sort of way. Maybe it's the same as what the Legends currently is, or maybe it's different. We really don't know. But it will be explained at some point. Hopefully. B-Man, what's up? Boy, I can't believe how excited I am for this. Me too. I'm pretty sure if you watch the recap after the launch event, I think they will reveal two young actors as twins. Yeah, there was that launch event thing that we didn't watch. It's 3 minutes long, and I don't know if it's... do you guys want to watch this? We can watch it if you want. It's the Acolyte launch event recap. It's 3 minutes long. We can watch. Give me a 1 into the chat if you want to watch it. Give me a 2 if you're like, nah, we're good. Let's see. And by the way, this poll currently right now about do you think that the Jedi will be around during the Acolyte show? I mean, do you think the Jedi will know the Sith are around during the Acolyte show? 61% of you say yes. Absolutely insane. All right, you guys want to watch the trailer? Okay, we'll watch the trailer. We'll watch the trailer. Oh, what's up? Your pal Joe with a 9-month membership. 9 months? That's freaking insane. I appreciate it. Joe says, happy Acolyte Day, everybody. Look forward to watching this together tonight. Oh, yeah, Joe. I can't wait either. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Okay. Let me go back to where I was during this thing here. Right there. Okay. Let's watch this trailer then. Let's watch this 3-minute launch event thingy here. Here we go. This was the red carpet launch that was last week. Or over the weekend. Ooh, they got all the lightsabers in a case there? That's kind of sick. This is the one that's was with the original poster on the side here. I think that's Indara's, honestly. These two almost look like Ahsoka Tano's lightsabers. That's kind of cool. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
이 날이 왔구나라는 생각이 들고요. 너무 긴장되고 너무 기쁘고.
What's interesting to me, obviously people are excited for Master Soul, and he speaks English in the show. But his main language is obviously not English, and he speaks it well, but not like super well. And in all of his interviews, he doesn't speak English. So I'm a little bit concerned that I think he's understandable. In the trailers, he's understandable, obviously. But I wonder if that's going to be a turnoff for some fans. I don't know. Keep it in mind.
생각이 들고요. 너무 긴장되고 너무 기쁘고.
I'm just excited for the group of people that aren't fans yet, because this is a great starting point for people to really enjoy.
Interesting. A great starting point is the Acolyte, because it is the first thing ever technically in the time period and the timeline.
Enjoy the Star Wars universe.
Get drawn in by the story, love the characters, and stay with that episode per episode. The way this show unfolds is so shocking.
The way this show unfolds is so shocking. Okay? We understand that this show has a lot of twists and turns coming, but it feels like to us, because we've seen so many trailers, that there's so much information already revealed to us. There's twins, we already know that. This mysterious Master Sith Lord, like some people were like, they probably shouldn't have shown us that, and it would have been a surprise when the show came. But they also had to get some hype for the show. But even still, there's a lot of twists and turns that come episode to episode throughout this show that make it very cool and make you excited to discover more.
I'm most excited for fans to discover is probably the various fighting styles that are in the show. We took
Again, all they talk about here is the choreography and the fight styles and the fights.
a lot of inspiration from the levity and the fast-paced nature of the
Ooh, we got a good look there at Kelnaka fighting against the Jedi.
show. We took a lot of inspiration from the levity and
Kelnaka versus Master Soul here. Again, we don't know why Kelnaka is fighting against these Jedi, but he is. Maybe he's under a witch's something. I don't know.
the fast-paced nature of
Then he's fighting the curly-haired dude there.
the fighting sequences in the prequels, particularly.
I hope that they love the journey and the story, the action.
A mix with the mysterious suspense and the thriller aspect of the show. The action is a very driving force.
I love his voice. There's something about this accent that I could listen to for days.
Mixed with the mysterious suspense and the thriller aspect of the show.
Can we take a second here to, this guy is this character.
Action.
A mix with the mysterious
Obviously, this is the flashback scenes with a younger version of the character,
suspense and the thriller aspect of the show.
but that clearly means that he's the one who's dying in that meditating room where he's meditating and May comes and strikes him down.
The action is a very driving force of the show.
But that's his character's name, Torben. I didn't know that.
Leslie builds humans and species that are so well-rounded, vast, and dynamic.
Leslie, you know, has made something incredible. I think it's a masterpiece, and I think the story...
A masterpiece. This is the girl who's playing Vanestra Rowe, if you didn't recognize her because she's bald and green in the show.
...telling is masterful. All the different storylines and the...
Creepy witches rocking back and forth.
...is masterful. All the different storylines and the twists and turns.
미스터리 서스펜스 장르를 굉장히 잘 살렸다라는 것이 아주 포인트 중에 재미적인 포인트 중에 하나가 아닐까 생각하고.
How much heart it has, the storylines that
생각하고.
How much heart
Mother Coral? Oh, maybe she's just one of the witches?
it has, the storylines that it explores that are so relatable.
I am so excited for people to just get into the story and like go.
I think she might be the most underrated character coming in here. She's the apprentice, so she's not really like sort of all that hyped up. I know somebody just said in the chat that she's one of their favorite characters coming in already, but I think she's gonna maybe kind of steal the show. Yes, Amandalus, May, and Osha characters are gonna be great. I think Master Soul's gonna be great. Master Indara is gonna be great. Kelnaka, I think is gonna be cool too. But I think Jackie might be sort of the show stealer.
For people to just get into the story and like go discovering the mystery along with us, with the characters. This is my dream. I've been waiting for it ever.
So here are the twins. These are the young May and young May, but they're also just going to be, they're twins in real life. As you can see, they both share the last name, and they look very similar. They're going to be the ones playing the young character of May and Osha.
Since I was like 7 years old, and I'm so happy I'm living this moment.
Hang on, what?
I am so excited and like go discovering the mystery along with us, with the characters. This is my dream. I've been waiting for it ever since I was like 7 years old.
This is my dream. I've been waiting for it ever since I was like 7 years old. How old do you think these girls are? 11. I've been waiting for like a week for my dreams to come true. Okay, I don't know. I found it funny. I've
been waiting for it ever since I was like 7 years old, and I'm so happy I'm living this moment.
Many have said that this is the golden era of the Jedi, and I think Leslie really captured that.
Just how fun these characters are and how much they really continue the Star Wars legacy, and yet...
I think this guy might actually steal the show. Like, he's the composer, obviously, so he's not in the show particularly, but he is the guy who's making the music. And I think, obviously, when it comes to Star Wars, music changes everything. And when it came to Ahsoka with Kiner, when it came to The Mandalorian with Ludwig, and of course, John Williams, goes without saying, I think this guy needs to steal the show.
Yet provide an opportunity to see it from a whole new perspective.
The premiere on Disney Plus can't come soon enough because I think that they're going to really feel transported back to the first time they watched Star Wars with what we've created.
Transported to the first time you ever watched Star Wars with this show.
Really stunned to see all the fans that are out here and all of the Star Wars costumes.
Leslie made such a beautiful personal story. Anyone can grasp onto, whether they've watched Star Wars a million times or never watched anything. So I'm excited for people to just get introduced to a new, really great story.
The more these universes get
Ahmed Best.
New, really great story.
The more these universes get expanded, the more energy that goes out, the more positivity goes out. It's just lovely.
To see a different part.
Iman. Actually, I'm going to see him in 2 weeks. So Fan Expo Boston is coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend. And I'm actually going to go see Iman Esfandi and actually some other Ahsoka cast members, but they're all going to be there. It's pretty awesome.
Of the universe, a different time, and a bunch of new Jedis. Super stoked.
I am actually looking forward to seeing
And her too.
the martial arts. You know, get down with the lightsabers and all the other empty hand stuff.
It's the most meaningful thing to be
Sadly, not her.
able to see everybody and celebrate this crew.
We just love Star Wars so much, and we hope that all the fans love it.
And I hope that the people who invest in it will feel as satisfied as I do having made it.
I'm just really excited. I'm really happy.
That's where I'm at too.
Not a word. That's how I feel though.
And there's your cast. So what's really cool about this is just how many people who are working on this that seem to just love Star Wars. Now, obviously, you could say that everybody who works on Star Wars loves Star Wars, but that's not always the case. It's not. It's just, sadly, it's not. But it does feel like, especially Amanda Steinberg, who's the main character, she's just a hardcore Star Wars fan, and that's just what's fantastic. And actually, they posted a video about her like getting this video from Hayden Christensen, and she freaks out because Hayden Christensen's the GOAT, obviously. But it just feels like it's just feel good. That's what it is. It's feel good, and that's what's great about it. Can't wait. I can't freaking wait. All right, let me catch up on some chat really quickly. Wait, what? Hang on. Dinosaur, what's up? Says, hey, Mike, I'm very excited for this show. Me too. Salty Texas Ranger, what's up, Salty? How we doing? Says, I've heard bad things about the first 4 episodes from the critics who were allowed to see the first 4 episodes. Well, Salty, if you were here on time today, it's almost 4 o'clock here. If you were here on time, you would have seen all the reviews that we read, and the majority of them are very high and positive. Indeed. Loyal Apple says 61% of you, it's now 58%, but 61% of you think that Disney is about to screw up the lore? No. The Jedi knowing about the Sith would not screw up the lore at all, because they just die. The Sith will die. His acting is phenomenal. I don't know who you're talking about, but yeah. Oh, the dude from Squid Games? Yeah. Master Soul. Li Zhangsha. Yeah. Soul is the only interesting and somewhat well-designed character. That's not true. That is not true at all. How long am I going for in this stream? Work starts at 4, Mike? Wait, what? So you just watch me when your work starts? I'm confused. How long am I going for? I don't know. Maybe a little bit longer. We got to get on out of here because I really got to pee. And I got to set up the live stream for later. We got a live stream in only about 4.5 hours. Yeah. I think he's not fluent, and he's not comfortable enough to answer on-the-spot questions in English. Yeah, I know that, but I'm more so saying he is speaking English in the show. How is that going to go over with certain fans? I'm not too sure. Is he going to be very easy to understand? From the trailers, it looks like it, but it's going to be interesting, to say the least. Yeah. Hideous glasses? Who? Oh, in that thing? Funny. It was the costume designer, too, who was wearing them. I don't need to twist anything. Just like the Sith, it will be there lurking in the shadows, waiting and watching. I'm confused. What are you talking about? The reality is that Kathleen Kennedy and Leslie Headland... How is this conversation here? Watch party starting at 8:45? Yes, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the watch party will begin tonight. Yeah. Indeed. Oh my God. What is going on in the chat right now? What is going on in the chat? The villains are lame, no good designs. Have you looked at Darth Zipper face? Looks pretty badass to me. Yeah, looks pretty badass for me. Darth Thor says, love seeing the Star Wars family come out and support other shows. Yeah, that's true too. Seeing Iman come out and Diane and what's Shin Hati's actress's name? Somebody in the chat help me out. What's Shin Hati's actress's name? Seeing all those people come out for it's great. It feels like it's a cohesive family over there. Yeah, it's great. That look between Yoda and Mace, true. Don't worry about it, Chris. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna watch it with subtitles for sure. Yeah, probably me too, but I usually do that anyway. What's the most people you've ever had on a stream? That's actually a great question. We broke that record during the time of the Bad Batch, actually. So, Ivana Sakno? Ivana. That's what I meant. Yes, thank you. John Frag, what's up? That's actually a great question. What is the record on stream? The record is 130. 31, maybe? 130, I believe, on the dot, but I could be wrong. I have to go check my notes. 130, and we hit that on the prediction stream before the finale of the Bad Batch, I believe. So literally a month ago. And actually, we were talking about this. I was talking about this with one of my buddies just a little bit ago. These live streams haven't been like this all that long. We have 60 people here right now. It has never been like this. And for those of you who have been around the channel for quite a while, you know that. Before the Bad Batch Season 3, we had about 10 was a good stream. Double digits was a great stream day. 10 people at the same time was a great stream day. If we hit 20, it was like, oh my God. And the record for a while was in the 20s. And then it wasn't until the Bad Batch till we sort of took off. And now we got about 60 people here, and that's still mind-boggling to me. But yeah, 130 was the record. It was the time of the Bad Batch. Hoping that the Acolyte show's just as good, that we get back up to those numbers. But yeah, that was something. The week sort of the last week of April to the first week of May, my brain exploded, like with the amount of people that were here during live streams. It didn't make any sense to me. I appreciate it more than you will ever know. But yeah, it was wild. And Ahsoka too. Yeah, Joe. Ahsoka was huge for the channel. We broke the records for live streamings then too. And now we've kind of just, 60 might sound like a very low number to you guys, but it's absolutely insane to me because I've been streaming for about almost a year and a half, getting closer to 2 years now. And for the first year and couple months, it was less than 10 people watching me at all times. So now that there's this many of you here, I could not appreciate you more, but it's weird still. It feels very weird to me. Yeah, it feels very weird to me. Yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. But this is new. This is very new. Darth Thor says, do you want Baylan Skoll to be recast or do an animated show to tell his story? I think both. I think you can do a Tales of the Jedi and tell his story after Order 66, and then you can recast his character for Ahsoka Season 2. I think there's no way around it at this point. His character was set up for a lot longer of a future, and of course, Ray Stevenson sadly passed away a year ago, so he can't play the role anymore. You're going to need to recast the character. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no other way to go about it. There's literally nothing. You can CGI him, but that's a lot more difficult because you don't have as much data of his character. Like CGIing Luke is because you have so much video of Mark Hamill from the original trilogy to all the other stuff he did in the 70s and 80s. It's easy to deepfake, or not easy, but you know what I mean. It's easier to deepfake Mark Hamill. To deepfake Baylan Skoll is going to be a lot more difficult, as Ray Stevenson looks very different in all of his different roles that he's in recently, and he's only in one season of Ahsoka. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? Should they go with deepfake or recast for Baylan Skoll? And if you do say recast, who? I don't know. I definitely think they need to keep the character going. And however they go about that, I hope they do it correctly. Yeah. I just watched Logan the other day. X-23 is such a badass. Yeah, and I know. Look at how much she's grown up. I feels like Logan didn't come out all that long ago, but now Daphne Keane is like an adult pretty much in the Acolyte show. It's pretty wild. What are my expectations from Ahsoka Season 2? Greatness. Ahsoka Season 1 was greatness. Why can't Season 2 be greatness? I have very high hopes for Ahsoka Season 2. Very high hopes for Ahsoka Season 2. And I hope that it will be as good, if not better, than the first season, which is very hard to do. I think Anakin will be involved as some sort of Force Ghost. The Mortis gods will be involved. Abeloth. Like, there's no limitations to how much lore and into the Force we can go. Just like Season 1 did. Yeah. You're one of the few non-haters covering Star Wars. It's refreshing. Well, thank you. That's sort of the gist of the show. You guys talked about earlier, or asked me earlier about why I started the channel. That was one of the biggest reasons. All I saw was hate when it came to content creators online about Star Wars. And at the time when I created the channel, it was The Mandalorian. And I believe The Mandalorian season Mandalorian season 2. And even then there was hate. And I was like, what are we doing here? So I was like, I'm going to make a place where we can create a community where it's all about the love of Star Wars. And yes, we can have differing opinions. We can like and dislike things, but we're going to have a civilized conversation in this chaotic and uncivilized scum and villainy of the Star Wars fandom right now. So that's kind of the gist of the channel, and I'm sticking to it. But I appreciate that. I really do. B-Man says, I thought you had over 150 at one point. I believe it's 130, maybe 131 or 132, but it's definitely not higher than that. Yeah, definitely not higher than that. You're averaging about 50 now? I know, and it's mind-blowing to me. Blowing my mind at all times. I can't wait to hop on the stream for the Acolyte. Me either. I can't wait for this show. I'm hoping that I'm going to be like this later. For like an hour and a half. That's my goal. Or more like this. That's the goal. That's the goal. But we'll see. Maybe I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is so... And I punch my TV and it just goes off. I'm hoping that it's the first one. But we'll see. We'll see. I thought it was around 178. I wish, but it's not. Yeah. There are some cheesy things that throw people off. Soul knows May and doesn't know who she's working for. He could have put up his hand like he was reading her mind. But there's things like that. But here's the thing. Force users, it's a weak-minded being that they can use this whole, these are not the droids you're looking for type thing on. That's why Watto, it doesn't work on him, even though he's not the smartest guy in the universe. But another Force user is not going to work on either. If a Jedi went up to another Jedi and was like, eat a chicken nugget, he wouldn't do that. Because they also have the Force too, and the Force is working in their favor as well. So if Soul even tried to go, who are you working for, to May's a Force user, a dark side Force user at that too. So he probably wouldn't be able to do so. And if that's what they're complaining about when it comes to the Force not working, they're just dumb. They need to stop being afraid of recasting. I think the original cast trio, Luke, Leia, and Han, should get recast as well to tell great stories with them. I actually disagree with that. I think recasting is a good idea for characters like Bail and Skull, but when it comes to the original trio, Luke, Leia, and Han specifically, I think you gotta keep them the actors. They've grown beyond the character themselves. And yes, I do like the Solo movie, and I don't mind Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. But Luke in The Mandalorian Season 2 and in the Book of Boba Fett is incredible. And it's CGI'd, it's deep-faked, and it's fan-frickin-tastic. The Book of Boba Fett episode where he's training Grogu is so good, and it feels like Luke Skywalker. They also CGI'd Leia in Rogue One, which looks fantastic, and they're able to do it now easier than they have been before. Obviously, it costs money. Obviously, it takes time, but it looks good enough, or looks great. And they are able to tell more stories with those characters, even without having to recast the characters. Now, you could just tell their stories more in animation. You could do a 7-season show like The Clone Wars is, recast them as voice actors, which is also a different thing. But I honestly don't think the original trio should be recast. And I know a lot of you disagree with me on that. But as of right now, they're going to remain to be deepfaked. Bail and Skull is sort of a different situation, though. Recast Bail and Skull. I think they have to recast, sadly. Yeah. I'm with recast. I want them to recast Balin. Russell Crowe would be a good one. But I also think they should recast Luke Skywalker. I disagree. I agree with recasting Balin, but again, for the reasons I just laid out in front of you, I don't think so. Recast Gerard Butler, deepfake beard, or basically impossible. Yeah. I guess so too. That would make sense. Gerard Butler's a good choice. Russell Crowe's a good choice too. They both sort of look like him for sure. Yeah. Can't wait for Ahsoka Season 2. Now that I'm a part of this incredible channel, I appreciate that, Tiffany. I can't wait for Ahsoka Season 2 either. Ahsoka's going to be amazing. Deepfake with body double and keep the character in a mask for the most of the time. That's the thing you could do, too. You could kill Balin off. You could kill Balin off pretty easily, actually. He's currently on his way to what we assume to go free Abeloth from the prison that the Mortis gods put him in. What if Abeloth immediately kills him as soon as he takes her out? He frees her and she goes, thanks, dead. Or scars his face so that he has to wear a mask. Also a possibility. Yeah, there's other ways around it than deepfake, I guess. Where was I? Gerard Butler would be perfect. I agree with that. Russell Crowe, if he loses about 50 pounds. Russell Crowe's a lot older now, too. And yeah, he's not the Russell Crowe from Gladiator anymore. No mask, Balin believes he's doing the right thing. That's true, but if he gets giant scars on his face and has to wear a mask, or maybe a breathing thing or whatever, apparatus. B-Man says, I love your channel. I appreciate that, B-Man. This channel makes Star Wars better. If that's the truth, then the goal has been achieved, because that was really the only goal in general, is making the Star Wars community a better place. I don't think we're nearly as close as I'd hoped to be, but we're getting there. We're getting there, for sure. I appreciate it, Fearless. I appreciate it. Gerard Butler or Sean Bean would be a good replacement. I don't even know who Sean Bean is. Yeah. Well, I just screenshotted that. What did you screenshot? Oh, yeah. If you guys are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord. Go join that. It's the people who love Star Wars. There's a bunch of people in there. Go join that Discord. It's a fun, awesome place. And become a member. If you're not a member yet, it's only 99 cents at the lowest tier. You get instant access to a lot of fun stuff, like a giveaway, which we did last week on Thursday at the end of every month. Yeah. I think Lance Guy, what's up? I think Michael Fassbender would be a perfect for Jalen Solo, I think you might mean. Maybe autocorrect. Michael Fassbender would be cool in Star Wars. I'd love to see that. Michael Fassbender is a very underrated actor, if I do say so myself. Yeah. What? An overreact fake reaction? No, it wouldn't be a fake reaction. I'm hoping that the show would make me literally go, like, I want it to be jaw-droppingly good. But probably most of the time it's going to be me sitting here going, actually, I might even make some popcorn and put it in the R2 popcorn bucket right here. So it might just be me going like this. Off with his head! Wrestling R2 to take his head off, and then have popcorn in his head and just be like, so if you want to see that, come by the live stream later on. Yeah. Yeah. I would love it if you punched your TV. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't, because then I'd be out of TV. We wouldn't want that. John says, tamper your expectations. Remember, it's the first episode and they need to set up the story. Yeah, no, I was just messing around. How long is this stream going to be? Not much longer, because I really have to pee right now. And we've been going for almost 2.5 hours, which is crazy. Yeah. Mike, do you think anyone will die in this show? Yeah, absolutely. I think Master Indara is going to die in this first episode. Now, I'm hoping I'm right with that, but, I mean, chances are I could be wrong. Indara in current day trailers is only seen in that fight scene in the cantina, and the show is about somebody murdering Jedi, and we see May murdering Jedi, and it's likely that the first Jedi that she murders is Master Indara. So it makes sense that Indara is going to die probably in the first episode to establish that somebody is murdering Jedi. Yeah. And the Jedi Master curly-haired dude, too. Yeah, I think he'll probably die in probably episode 2, maybe, or maybe even episode 2, too. 2. All right, let's talk about these run times before I get too far out here. This is coming from Bestman Bulletin. Let's take a look. So the run times, I believe they're coming from... Okay, from what I've been hearing, Leslie Headland was very honest about her past with the comments of the run times. as I've heard, that the first 4 episodes runtimes are between 42 minutes and 32 minutes. I don't know if this includes the ending credits or not, so keep that in mind too. It could be even longer than that if the end credits are not involved. But here are the 4 runtimes for the first 4 episodes. Again, take this with a giant grain of salt because it might be wrong. Episode 1, that's cut off. Episode 1 is 41 minutes. Episode 2 is 36 minutes. Episode 3 is 42. And episode 4 is 32. So, very similar to Ahsoka, very similar to The Mandalorian in run times. But again, take it with a giant grain of salt because it might not be true. Or it might be off by a few minutes here or there. We don't really know. But from what we're hearing, these are the first 4 episode runtimes. That means tonight we're getting these first 2 episodes. Meaning about an hour and 15 minutes, or a little bit over that even, of content, which is pretty wild. So that'll be cool. That will be cool, but those are the runtimes. Had to get to that before we got on here. I almost forgot. But the deepfake and CGI is not viable for the long term. They will be able to tell more stories and better stories if they just recasted them. I agree with you about the animation, though. I agree with you about being able to tell more stories if they did recast the characters, but I think with Luke, Leia, and Han, less is more. So obviously I want to see Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple. I want to see that story, how he falls, how Ben Solo rises. I want that in animation, though. Even though it would be really cool if it wasn't, but I would rather see it in animation like a Clone Wars animated show. It would be cool because animated Star Wars is great. I mean, from Rebels to Clone Wars to Bad Batch, it's fantastic. But less is more when it comes to Luke, Leia, and Han in the Mandoverse. And I think we will be seeing more of Luke and hopefully Leia and Han too, but less is more. So you want less of those characters. I'd love to see all 3 of them on the screen at the same time because we didn't get that in the sequel trilogy. But I don't. If you do recast the characters, it'll be met with a lot of hatred from the fandom in general because of Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, of course, who's now gone. People will not like it, and I think you're better off just to have a little bit less of them, but keep them being deepfaked and keep Harrison and Mark involved. I want to see live action Ventress and Barriss somehow together. That's impossible. But, Ventress and Barriss. I thought you said Vanestra Rowe. My fault. Ventress and Barriss somehow. Well, it's possible. Those 2 characters are both still technically alive and could show up in live action at some point. I think Ventress is probably more likely than Barriss, but yeah. Brad Pitt is Balin? Not really. I don't see it. I don't see it. Soul is a very powerful Jedi versus someone who hasn't been with the Order for years. It's possible that she opens to him because she's currently under the control of the Sith guy. I think you're mixing it up. Osha is the one who has been training for a while because she was with the Jedi Order and then she leaves. May has been training with the dark side for God knows how long. We don't know. So it could be years, decades, her whole life. We don't know. So she is still training currently. May, on the other hand, could be open to some sort of these aren't the droids you're looking for type deal. Yeah. I would love Tales of the Order 66. That would be kind of cool because there's a lot of Jedi that we know who survive Order 66 that we don't know how. That'd be cool. That would be cool. Star Wars guy says, well, I will say that you were my 2nd favorite Star Wars channel, so I think that's a success. 2nd? Who was 1st? No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate it. To be in the top 2 is quite an honor. I appreciate it. Luke Evans? Who's that? Sean Bean was the Pirate Games. Was in Pirate Games in Lord of the Rings? All right, now I got to look him up. Who's this Sean Bean guy? Sean Bean. Oh, he would make a good Balin. You guys are right. This guy right here from Lord of the Rings, he has that same sort of look. Why do so many actors kind of look like each other? I don't know. It's interesting. It's good call, though. Christian Bale in Star Wars would be amazing. That would be amazing. And I think Christian Bale, if I'm not mistaken, is actually a really good, big Star Wars fan. Yeah. Cody, what's up? John says, I always hated recasting in movies and TV shows. I used to pretend recast characters were just new characters because I found it more immersive and immersion breaking. Sorry. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, especially with those three characters in particular, the original trio. It would be weird. It would just be weird. Yeah. Don't kill me, but I really like Star Wars Explained. I'll take it. If I'm number 2 to Star Wars Explained, that's perfectly fine. Star Wars Explained, he's a great guy over there. Yeah, for sure. Okay. I think I'm going to have to get on out of here right now because I really got to pee. And we've been going for 2.5 hours. This is one of our longest streams in a long time. But drop your final predictions or forever not have a prediction thrown in the last 2. What do you think's going on in these 2 episodes? 2 episodes premieres in 5.5 hours? 4.5 hours? Wait, 4.5 hours. Final predictions, drop them right now. For the first 2 episodes of the show, who's going to die? Who's going to live? What's going to happen? Is there going to be this massive twist? Are we going to see the mysterious masked Sith Lord in these first 2 episodes? Is Master Indara going to die in this first episode? Is Osha going to be in the first 2 episodes? Like, what do you think's going down in these first 2 episodes? What do we think? What do we think? What do we think? 900 years old. Yoda dies when he's 900 years old. He says that in Return of the Jedi. Luke says 900 years. Look at you. Yeah, 900 years makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I bet they kill off Yoda. That's a good one. That's a good one. What do you guys think? Is Yoda going to be in this show? Is Yoda going to be in the first 2 episodes? Here's the thing. We're definitely going to start off with Coruscant. We're going to see Coruscant tonight. That's pretty exciting. Getting to see the Jedi Temple on Coruscant in a different 100 years before the Phantom Menace. That's going to be pretty cool. Seeing Master Soul training with all the younglings and Jackie. That'll be pretty cool. And maybe even Osha. Maybe even Osha. I think Master Indara will die in the first episode. Me too. I hope that I make it to the watch party. Depends on how tired I am. It will be 3 a.m. for me. I appreciate it. I appreciate the effort, Fearless. I do. You're the best, Mike. Keep it up. Thanks, Trent. I appreciate it. I do get the feeling that Master Soul will survive in this series. I hope so. Especially if there's a season 2 on the horizon. Yeah, I'd hope so. No Yoda to start. I agree with that. I think Yoda, if he does show up, will be in the later episodes. Yoda will be in an end credits scene of the show. That would be a bummer. That would be way too far. I'm sticking with your Shadow of the Sith theory, mask theory. Then Plagueis gets wind of what's happening and destroys the mask, seeing that it is a threat to him being the Sith right now. Interesting. Again, I do like that theory. It is a cool one. But from what I've seen from the trailers, I actually am kind of gone off that theory. But David, you stick to that theory, and I'll stick to the other theories. Then we'll see who's wrong. Probably both of us, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, I'll see you guys at the watch party later on tonight. Watch out for that. Yeah, let's just have a lot of fun. Let me end this poll, though. We got almost 100 votes on this poll. Do you guys think that the Jedi will know that the Sith are around in the Acolyte show? It's about 50-50, 56 to 44, 50-ish, 50. That's pretty interesting. You guys think that the Sith are going to make themselves known? Now, it's possible that they could just die. It would be awesome, but we'll see. I appreciate you, Tony. All right, huge shout out to all the very generous, well, first of all, the 9-month membership of your pal Joe. I mean, first ever member, amazing. But Tony with a very generous $10 holla. Kit Fisto with the first ever super chat, and Rose as well. I appreciate it. I hope my impressions did your chats justice. Yeah, we'll see. All right, I appreciate all you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. See you guys at the watch party. Smash a like on the stream if you have not yet. Have you hit how many likes do we got? Am I going to be mad? How many likes? Oh, wow, that's a lot of likes. Smash like on the stream if you have not yet. Hit subscribe and hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. Watch over that watch party later on, and I'm still kind of like, when am I going to make the breakdown video? Probably just going to stay up really, really late tonight and make the breakdown video. Not too sure when it will post. Probably like 6 a.m. I don't know. Watch out for it. Watch out for it. And yeah. Admiral Akbar. And may the force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate every single last one of you. Hopefully, this is the start to an amazing TV show tonight, and this will be one of many, many, many prediction streams that we'll be doing over the next 7 to 8-ish weeks, and I can't wait. I cannot wait. So I appreciate every single last one of you. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives. See you guys at the watch party, and good night, everybody. Yeah.